Hello and welcome to Charlotte Motor Speedway here in Concord, North Carolina. This is race 7 for the Championship Online Racing Association. They will be running 150 laps, 225 miles here at this 1.5 mile quad opener. I'm Carl, and here in the booth with me tonight is Petey Zeller and Stephanie. I can't say her last name, but I'm going to try it anyway. Lessentine. If I got it wrong, she can smack me later. We are going to be in for an exciting race tonight as we try to see who is going to be able to beat the Storm Boys. They have been on a tear this season, winning 5 of the last 7 races. Don Stevenson winning 4 of them himself. As we go down to trackside for opening ceremonies. I want to.
Good evening, race fans. CORA Championship Online Racing Association proudly presents the Sunday Money Series. The Sunday Money Series is being brought to you by Cole's Wheelboard Truck Center, Redwood Falls, Minnesota. Berkey Painting and Sandblasting, quality job at a fair price, Redwood Falls, Minnesota. Hurley Property Maintenance, when you want the job done right, Kingston, Ontario. Small Town Computers, serving Midwestern Michigan. SH&D Trucking, Elburn, Illinois. Collision Works and Collision Works Auto Body Express, making friends by accident in Memphis, Tennessee. Now at this time, ladies and gentlemen, please rise, and gentlemen, remove your caps, as the Reverend Rusty Dent will deliver our invocation.
Dear Lord, let us pray. We want to thank you, Lord, for all we have. Dear Lord, we ask you that you protect those men and women who serve us both here and abroad. And oh Lord, we give thanks to those who have served us and have given that ultimate sacrifice that we may enjoy the liberties that we have today. And oh Lord, we ask you that you give these drivers the skill and the good internet connection so that we may be given a race like no other. Lord, we ask you that our racing give us the green-white checkers that we so deserve, and that we may enjoy an exciting race to the finish we all want to see. Lord, may you heighten the senses and protect these drivers so that they can give us a 3-wide door-banging race to the checker flag tonight. And can we all say amen? And I'll say amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing as we proudly introduce Jaden Berkey to sing our national anthem.
Star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
And now at this time, the 5 sons of our CEO, James Brown, Alex, Andrew, Nick, Cody, and Ethan, will deliver the 4 most famous words in all of automotive racing. Good luck, drivers. To all those watching, it's time to sit back, relax, and strap it down. Let's go Sunday money racing, CORA style.
Back here live from the CORA Sunday Money Series. We'll take you to the grid under the first caution if there is one. As we get ready for the restart, Ryan Borges brings him to the flag. Here we go. Green flag in the air. Borges takes off.
Great start there by Ryan Borges. Dominic Dieball, he's going to fall right into second place. Don Stevenson, however, he is going to be having something to say about that as he takes it down to the inside of Dominic Dieball going into turn number 2.
Great racing here. Here comes Don Stevens. He wants to find a way around Dominic Dieball, and Dominic's just going to let him in the line early. A lot of respect out here. These CORA guys always showing massive amounts of respect for each other. And this race tonight here at Charlotte should be a good one. It always is when they go to these short little, I shouldn't say short, these tight little 1.5 milers. It's great racing to watch. And the first battle right now is for the 5th position. It's between Brandon Monsalvis, who had a great qualifying effort tonight. He's getting passed right now by Michael Churchwell, and he's just going to let him and Nicholas Doucette go by as he falls back to about 7.
Also, taking a look down to the inside there, looks like Kevin McCarthy, the voice of CORA, he's driving the police car down here tonight, so he's going to be out there in hot pursuit of anybody who screws up, I would assume. But he's taking a look down here to the inside of Monsalvis right now. It's going to be putting Monsalvis back here to around the 8th position.
Yeah, we have a nice little Hornets now right behind him. Leading that is Nathan Sedlick, did not get the qualifying run he wanted. He is all the way up to, I think it's 10th already. No, he's up to 9th at this point. Nathan Sedlick making the pass on the 08 of Scott Bailey. Sedlick is having a good run so far, passing cars left and right here. But this Hornets nest is getting real tight as we go back up front. Right now, Ryan Borges is still your leader, but look in his mirror, here comes Don Stevenson.
Not sure exactly what happened there with Nathan Sedlick for the 12th position start today, but yeah, that was not what he was looking for. I know when I was talking to him earlier there, he thought he had the pole for sure. He had the qualifying setup. The 44 is off the track into the wall. Kevin McCarthy hard in the inside wall.
No caution, he's off the racing surface, and he's going to get going straight again. Good job, good respectful job of him trying to keep off the track, now bringing out a caution. While all that insanity was happening with the 44, the number 21 car did bring it down pit road. He hit the wall hard also, so now we have 2 cars already in the pits, as we have a lot of change in position while that happens. Good for some guys, bad for them, and that actually kind of helped separate the racing a little bit. The first battle, the 27's around out of turn number 4, caution is out on the racetrack. That's Matt Clifton.
Take a look and see here what happened with Matt as he's coming off of, looks like just coming out of the trial, but going into turn 1 there in the apex of turn 1 and 2. It just looked like he got down and hit the apron a little bit there, got that back end loose, and the 81 of Colton Berkey just tapped the rear end and got him around sideways with just a 1-car spin.
Yeah, and that will give us a chance, as the replay will go up live right now. This will give us a chance to go the people in the race. We're taking through the race, but it's not the grid. So right now, in first is the pole sitter Ryan Borges, winner earlier this season at Richmond. Second is Don Stevenson, the 4-time winner of the season. Third, Dominic Dieball. Fourth, David Wenck. Fifth, the young gun Nicholas Doucette. Sixth, Michael Churchma. Seventh, Brandon Monsalvis. Eighth, hard charge so far already by Nathan Sedlick. Ninth, the winner from Daytona, George Barth. And rounding out your top 10, Scott Bailey.
Yeah, right now running in 11th position, we got Colton Berkey. Right behind him is going to be Damon Gilbert. Then we have Dylan or he's going to be following him in the 13th position. Dustin Loynes, Jeffrey Smith, Gordon Berkey. They round out your top 16. We have James Brown, the CEO. His uncle just died here this past week, right before qualifying on Wednesday. So he's going to be racing with a heavy heart. He told me earlier on tonight that he is going to be dedicating this race to his uncle who passed away this past Wednesday. So our thoughts and prayers go out to the James Brown family.
Yeah, and that's really a tough thing to hear from him. Brown in 15th tonight is James Brown, 16th Joel Wood, 17th Coltenberg. I apologize, there was some change of position, so we might be saying some people twice. I do apologize to that if I do. Damon Gilbert, 18th, and John Pasilla, 19th. Around here, top 20 is Sal Carty.
Martin Porter, Dustin Lee, and Matt Crafton are going to be your next three cars in line that are going to be looking at Patrick Scahill. Patrick's been making some enemies this season, but looks like he's running a little bit better tonight. He had a really strong practice tonight. Was watching him quite a bit. Also, William Roberts, he's going to be right behind him. Chad Wilson is going to be in 26th. 27th is going to be Jacob Nye. Car that there are just one of three cars, I think it was, that didn't take time today for practice, also, or for qualifying, and also didn't take time for practice or qualifying is going to be Mitchell Reeves, and we're looking at Dale Atkins, Tim Johnstone. He is rounding up 29th here, and Everett D. Lane all the way back to 30th position, all the way up to 30th position, excuse me, after starting 34th.
Yeah, and that will give us in 31st right now, Tim D. Johnstone, 32nd, Jason Halverson, 33rd, Kevin McCarthy got in a hard crash, tough break for him, and around your field is Mark McFadden, who is yet to turn a lap, but he plans to get out on the racetrack eventually, from what I've heard. And right now, Carl, they are racing at Charlotte. Charlotte is not your typical 1.5 miler. If you were to draw Charlotte, Texas, and Atlanta on a piece of paper, you'd say, well, PD, them are all the same racetrack. But whenever you get to them, they are not. The other two that I said are wide, racy tracks. Charlotte is a tight little track that you have to be very careful on. Not a lot of too wide racing, Carl. It should be interesting to watch these guys try to make some passes tonight.
Yeah, especially coming through that quad oval there. It's really tough to get side by side there. The cars are wanting to push out towards the wall, so you're better off trying to get it down single file if possible coming down through the quad oval. I've seen a lot of wrecks. I've been in a lot of wrecks right there in the quad oval. I know how hard it is to make that transition there, and yeah, it's not a lot of fun for these guys, especially 150 laps, 250 miles out here, 225 miles out here. This is going to be a long, long night.
Yeah, and you have to put it in perspective. The real-life Nationwide guys, they run 300 miles. These guys are out here running 225, I think you said, Carl. That is pretty insane. That's almost the distance of the real-life guys, and I think in the fall they run 250, so these guys are basically running a nationwide race out here tonight, as we see them double up for the restart, lights go off in the pace car, and it should be fun to watch. And our pole setter Ryan Borges has shown a lot of speed. He has his association, I'll say, on the outside of the store, motorsports driver, four-time winner of the season, Don Stevenson, already making some moves up to second.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting tonight to see who can actually take these guys. We had Don Stevenson last week winning his fourth race of the season. Matter of fact, the top three drivers were all Storm Motorsports cars, so it's going to be interesting to see who could take these guys. We got people up there right now like Dominic Dyball, Nicholas Doucette. They are two drivers that can put the spoilers to these guys. I've seen both of those drivers win races here in CORA. If anybody's going to get it done, I'd say Nicholas Doucette has a good chance. Dominic Dyball has a good chance. And the spoiler also could come from maybe George Bark. George Bark won the season opener this year at Daytona. So he's another one I was expecting to hear a little bit more from this season and have not, as they come out of turn number 4 here, getting ready to take the green. Pace car is down. Ryan Borges is on the loud pedal, and they are back off, heading into turn 1 here. Looks like Ryan Borges is going to get a good restart there. Dominic Dyball is going to be down low, and he looks like he's going to want to get up here and challenge for the second position.
That leaves the four-time winner of the season on the outside, but he finds a spotlight in Ryan. Spot right in the line, Don Stevenson does. Right behind him is his teammate David Wenck. Wenck is going to cut to the 51 of Doucette off. Doucette has not over. He gives Wenck his bump, and what a save by the number 20 car there. Oh my goodness, he had to hang out of that thing, but he is going to lose about 3 positions to Churchma, Sedlick, and Bark. They all go flying by them too. As tough break there for the 20 of David Wenck.
I'll tell you, Ryan Borges had a great restart and ran the first few laps there, was kind of pulling away, but now Dominic Dyball has made it up into second position finally here and is right up on the back deck lid of Borges, wanting to get this lead position, get up here and get some lead points, and see if he can lead this race, see how his car's going to handle up here in the clean air.
Yeah, but it's not coming easily right now. Dominic Dieball is not letting him get away, but he does have help. His quote-unquote teammate, Don Stevenson, is right there waiting to get to him. As we see more change in position, Michael Churchman is going to go flying by the 35 of Sedlak, who got loose, and he's going to lose position also to George Bark. So already some trouble early with these cars being loose off. You know, one thing I heard a lot from drivers is if they didn't loose off, that's a condition you do not want to have, but it seems to be the case for quite a few teams here, as we see a lot of comers and goers. One comer already is that 5th place car, actually makes that 6th now, of Nathan Sedlak. He's come all the way from 12th up to 6th already in just 13 laps, and with the caution put in, that's pretty impressive so far, Carl.
Oh, absolutely it is. Right now I'm sitting here watching George Barks as he is looking down to the inside here of Michael Churchman, wanting to see if he can get this position, but it looks like that's not going to work out for him as Nathan Sedlak pulls up on his outside there. Just taps the rear quarter panel there of Michael Churchman. I don't think anything was going to, any problems going to come out of that right there. I didn't see any damage whatsoever on either one of the cars, but it looks like the strong car right now to speak of is going to be the 35 right now of Nathan Sedlak as he's making a power move to the outside here of Michael Churchman.
You took the words out right out of my mouth. Power move, he passed 2 cars on the outside. You don't see that too often. Sedlak goes around him, and here comes the 42 Bark to the inside of Churchman. He wants to get that 5th position. Oh, they're going to touch barely, and that will give the position to Churchman easily as the number 30, as the number 88, that is, will go flying by the number 42 of George Bark. And I'm going to welcome to the booth, Evan Pasoko finally made it back from Comic-Con.
Ryan Borges up here now in the lead. He has opened up a little bit of a lead. Just a little bit over a 0.2 of a second lead over Dominic Dieball. Dominic is now being challenged heavily by Don Stevenson. Don Stevenson takes a look to his inside, dives it down in there hard. It looks like he's going to make it hold as he slides up the track just a little bit, almost getting into Dominic, and actually able to get around and make that pass stick now. Don Stevenson, our 4-time winner, has moved it up to 2nd position.
Yeah, and he is trying to make some more moves. He wants to get to that number 32, Ryan Borges. Can he get there, the number 42, a winner this season 4 times? I mean, 30. Sorry, I'm messing up numbers here left and right, folks. The 47, that is, of Don Stevenson, as he is going to try to take that lead from his quote-unquote teammate, Ryan Borges, but he has a long way to go. Borges got away while that battle was happening. And this has really spread things out. First battle on the racetrack is going to be Doucette and Bark, the young gun trying to get around George Bark on the inside. And Doucette is not quite clear, and he is now. So give the 7th position now to Doucette, and that will make the first battle on the racetrack between Brandon Monsivice and the number 29 of Dylan Ackert.
Actually, excuse me, I've been watching that unfold here as Brandon Monsivice has been trying to get down there with that small-town computers car and get around Dylan, but Dylan had nothing of it. And pulled that thing right back out in front there and is able to actually pull ahead of him by about maybe 0.3 of a second after that little battle. But it looks like Monsivice is going to rally. He's going to come back up and get right back up on that decklet of Dylan Ackert, see if he can make that pass one more time.
Yeah, and these guys are really trying to have a good performance tonight. They're racing right in NASCAR's backyard, trying to get it done tonight. There's a lot of people watching, obviously, because Charlotte's always a big event, no matter what series it is. And right now, these guys are putting on one heck of a show, putting on some great racing.
We got a challenge for the lead here as Don Stevenson has caught Ryan Borges, now dives down to his inside. Looks like he is going to make that pass for the lead. Give that to Don Stevenson for the lead. Ryan Borges drops back to 2nd. Dominic Dieball is still sitting here in 3rd position. He has dropped back just about at 1 second now. Nathan Sedlak is the 2nd back, and Michael Churchman right on his back bumper.
Yeah, and that will give the lead to Don Stevenson, who takes it right away from Ryan Borges. Dominic Dieball is going to try to get up there, and that's really the closest battle on the racetrack right now, at least in the top 10 that is, as things have really started to spread out. No battling going on until you get back to about the 12th position. And we'll take this opportunity to throw it to Evan. Evan, welcome back to the booth. You've missed quite a bunch of action already.
It's always fun when you put any kind of car out at Charlotte with the high banks, especially under the lights. Very competitive race. We were just talking about that battle for 12th position. Give it to the 37 of Gordon Berkey. He'll be able to get that spot. Salicardi was challenging there. 39 going to get a run off the corner. Thinks about going low. 37 shuts the door. And just now lap 20 being completed. Don Stevenson, you guys mentioned, he is up front right now as a small challenge from Ryan Borges. I know Borges looking forward to this race as well. Continuing, the Storm Motorsports Vortex gang have continued to try to get solid runs in the opening portions of this year, and only getting better and better is that team. And no surprise, guys, seeing that 47 machine out front yet again.
Back here a little bit in the back of the pack, or in the middle of the pack, actually, we're looking at the 14th position right now. James Brown has moved up from 24th position, as I said. James is going to be running tonight in memory of his uncle who passed away, and he is having a great night here as we go under caution.
Oh, caution. There's caution on the racetrack. We'll try to locate that one really quick. It looks as though it was the number 20 vehicle, maybe? No, it was number 70.
79.
His
yeah,
79.
That looks like Joel Wood.
He's actually stuck in the safer barrier. I'm going to go try it back and see what happened there. It looks like he was racing hard to the 27, didn't realize he was there. Oh my goodness. That, he literally, so they were racing hard. The 27 came up. As they were wrecking, the 27 spun out. The 79 hit an edge of that wall, and it literally ate his car. Reminds me of a wreck that Michael Waltrip had at Bristol. So the 79 completely incinerated there.
And that didn't really look like a safer barrier on that one. The 79, for what should have been, I mean, still substantial contact, but just bouncing off the wall, gets actually caught up right in that safer barrier entrance. Doesn't really matter because he lost the engine. He'll go back down to pit road, but that's another example of one of those times that the iRacing physics can kind of bite you a little bit. He got stuck at a fence. He's forced to take the tow. Since that was right in quarter number 1, he's going to be forced to take a tow. It's going to be almost the maximum tow length, so he'll lose at least a lap as Don Stevenson now going to lead our leaders down pit road at a caution flag stops. Looks like pretty much everybody going to be coming in for service this time by, as we still sit 31 cars strong on the lead lap.
I'm all the way down here in the number 3 stall of Don Stevenson for the 47 cars. He's making his way down to his pits. He's going to pull it in here nice and squarely. He's going to see what he's going to do here. See if we're going to get a 2 or 4 tire change here. See if Don's going to be doing any kind of strategy earlier, if they're just going to go ahead with a 4 tire change. I don't see too much strategy going on. No, I see a bunch of 4 tire changes going on here in my end of the pits.
On my end of the pits, David Wenck and Nicholas Doucette both took 2. They were both near the top 5 before the caution came out. And the first car off pit road will be your pole setter, Ryan Borges, so he's going to be 3rd on the restart. His teammate David Wenck will be starting 1st, Nicholas Doucette in 2nd. So for the most part, everyone took 4, but we saw a couple guys shake the strategy card there. And Evan, something that you have to watch out for, tire wear, and you might as well experiment now if you're going to.
Yeah, it's interesting. You can use these opening stages of the race to test the waters, per se, and see if it's going to work later on. And it might be something that you'll see somebody maybe deeper on in the pack try out. Interesting to see that it was Nick Doucette, David Wenck. Wenck was a top 5 car at the start of this race. He's going to pull that tire strategy, get him up to the top spot right now. Nick Doucette, also a top 10 car. He qualified in 8th position, going to make that strategy call as well. Typically, you'll see somebody just outside the top 10 right on that edge. So interesting to see that it's going to be guys that were running top 10 at that point of the caution flag fine that are going to try it. And because now 20 laps into the run when the caution flag was thrown, that they will know and they'll be able to gauge for later on in the race. And other drivers also going to be looking at how that 20, how that 51 car are able to fare here. And then they're able to use that and kind of gauge if a 2-tire call could be a possibility on something like a late race restart to see if it's something that they might want to do for themselves. So the 51 and the 30, or rather the 20 and 51 rather, going to be the guinea pigs per se. Ryan Borges on the 4 tires is able to beat Don Stevenson out of the pit road, showing you how important also qualifying on pole position is because he had that number 1 pit stall.
I think one of the other things you're looking at here, why a lot of these drivers did take 4 tires, is get in here a little bit early. 25 laps into a race, you actually are able to get in here and get some early changes made on your car, get some tire pressure changes. So maybe that's why they're looking at some 4 tire changes out there. These guys are trying to get their cars set up for some longer runs, because the way it's going right now, it's looking like we may have some longer runs. As long as these guys are able to get themselves spread out like they did that last run there, we may be seeing with a race as long as this is several long green flag runs. So these guys are trying to get their cars set for those runs.
Yeah, and one thing to note also is the Chevy dominance this season will continue. The first Ford will be in 18th, so we've seen basically Chevy win every single race this season. So right now the Chevy dominance shall continue on. First Ford in 18th with Damon Gilbert. Damon Gilbert's usually up front battling, representing Ford well, but tonight he is just knocking off the start he wants. Start 13th, back to 18th. They're going to double up for this restart. And folks, we're getting ready for one great battle here. It should be interesting to see how long it takes Borges and Stevenson to get around Doucette and Wenck.
The field is doubled up. The restart's going to be coming up to take lap number 27 as the field rounds. So still 31 cars on the lead lap. Wave round going to Jason Halverson. That Motorcraft Ford stayed up behind the base car, so he'll rejoin the lead lap, and that will swap out positions with Joel Wood, who will slide down to 2 laps under using that quick fix after having to take the tow to pit road. Still a young night from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Again, just about 25 laps into this, and it's a 150 lap affair. David Wink going to be in control of it. How well did the 2 tires work, and how strong are those 4 tires going to be? When can you make the move, and how aggressive are you if you're a Ryan Borges or a Don Stevenson getting around these guys? Pace car now ducks off to the safety of pit road. 20 car in control, hesitates 1-2 seconds. Green flag back in the air, and immediately could open up the door for Ryan Borges. He goes to the bottom of Nick Doucette, who got caught sleeping on that restart. Going to be nose to nose for that number 2 spot, and Don Stevenson going to duck down the line to the bottom as well. Both Borges and Stevenson making moves. They go to P2 and P3.
Also looks like Dominic Dyball had a great restart there in the 5th position as he was able to close right up in there and not lose the position like we did see him do excuse me, on the initial start of the race. On his restart, on the first restart there, however, we got another caution. It looks like a car down through the grass. No caution, no caution.
3 wide, more contact. We got somebody out in the grass as well. This one not spinning, but a whole lot of action down that front straightaway. That guy's able to hang on to it. It's Salicardi, Carl, that you caught that one coming out of quarter number 4. Just got sideways on his own and nearly came down on the 40. That could have gotten real ugly. Everybody did a great job of getting around him. He kept it off pit road, so no penalties. He will lose time, but he's still back out on track.
And that was definitely a tough break for him. Someone else who had a tough break up front was Don Stevenson. Got real loose in the 51 of Nicholas Doucette. The spectacular young gun out of Canada is going to try to make his way back up to the front here. 2-tire strategy seems to be working well for him and David Blank so far. We'll see how that works throughout the run. And here comes Doucette. He's going to go underneath Ryan Borges. Can he get there? Yes, he has a door on him. And here comes Nicholas Doucette. The 2-tire strategy is looking spectacular so far, Evan, as we have a battle heating up for second here.
Yeah, the 51's able to dig. He goes back to the bottom. He wants to put up a fight with Ryan Borges. Borges leaving that inside lane open. David Wink not really able to run away quite yet either on that 2-tire call up front. Obviously, he'll be knocking off some faster lap times than the Borges-Doucette battle because of the fact that they are running side by side. Got the 47 right behind him, 15 as well, Dominic Dyball in this mix. But Nick Doucette doing a great job down on that inside lane. Borges, he's able to get the run off the corner, which is his saving grace, and put that thing all the way up to the fence to get everything he could out of it, and it's going to get him that number 2 spot back. 32 will get clear of the 51 at Doucette. That battle simmers down now to single file. Look at the 35, though. Nathan Sedlak trying to make some moves. He's on the outside. Dyball with trouble now back.
We found the caution on the racetrack. Happened once again on the back. The 81 of Colton Burke actually is in the grass right now. Looks as though he had an instant coming off turn number 4. He has got loose by himself. Right behind the 24 was getting loose, and he just went through pit road.
Spinning there.
And he just went through pit road, came on the grass, stopped his car, and that's what will bring out the caution. Everett Lane managed to hang out as the replay goes up, and we've seen early cautions come out here, and now we just have around 121 laps to go.
It almost looked like a Jim Connor kind of going on there, Carl. The 81 went around, the 24 went around. I guess maybe Everett saw Colton digging there and tried to give it a little bit more. Nonetheless, Colton Berkey goes around off the corner. Unlike when Salicardi was able to keep it out of pit road, the 81 went right down there. So not only is he going to be the cause of the caution, that's only going to hit him with some penalties as well.
Oh, yeah, he's going to get some speeding penalties, entering pit lane penalties. He's going to be getting black flags all over the place here. So, yeah, that's not going to help him at all.
No.
Actually, they're showing Colton Berkey just got his black flag cleared, so apparently it's not going to hurt him as much as we thought it was going to.
But he still will get the EOL, I do believe, for being the cause of the caution.
He's still going to get the EOL, I'm sure, for that, yes.
Yeah, so regardless, they'll clear the, possibly the, pit in your stall for 20 seconds of the green flag. He will be given the EOL. A little bit of a split decision. The majority of our leaders do stay out of pit road, and we got some guys 20th on back, going to be bringing them down for service and topping them off on fuel, getting some fresh tires to see that maybe if they can get along on contact on pit road. Salicardi tried to get into his stall and completely missed it when he tried to pull in a little bit too late. Had to slam the brakes right on the nose of that number 81 car, and Sal's going to have to actually back it up on pit road to get to a stall.
Makes into a stall eventually, but man, that was a tough break for him. And 39 crew, as we see the guys get off pit road, majority of the leaders did stay out under this caution, so the leader's still David Wenk. But I really appreciate that the league took away his black flag for that one. Good break for Colton Burke. Like to see when people do that. Obviously not a deserved penalty. He just had a little bit of a tough break there, so he got through it, and Colton Berkey is only going to have the EOL, as we have the top 3 right now will be Wenk, and Borges and Doucette as we get ready for yet another restart here from Charlotte.
Well, we're going to strike that. Only had the UL. He also got a speeding down the pit lane penalty there because he actually had to sit there on pit lane for an extended period of time after his pit stop there. So he must have gotten pegged for one of them because that was an extremely long pit stop there for Colton Burke.
So out of the 6 or 7 that he could have possibly gotten, one of them caused him to stay down there. It's going to cycle him to the back regardless of the fact that he's going to get the EOL anyways. We do now have Everett Lane going to get back onto the lead lap here, which leaves Joel Wood as the only car off the lead lap. He sits right now in P33, and again is the only machine off the lead lap. He's 2 laps down at the moment, continuing to come down this time by and get some service done. Again, he had to take that tow, which is why he lost that ground, so he may be able to get a couple more cautions here, be able to fight back on the lead lap and try to get back up to a top 20 car, which is where he qualified in this race. Do expect that if Joel Wood's able to get up there, though, to be around P10 because he did have a 13th place fastest car in the practice session. Didn't quite get the qualified effort that I think he would have liked that if he qualified in 20th position. And Carl, he sits right now 23rd, or rather 33rd back again, 2 laps down.
Yeah, speaking of Everett Lane there, and who else was that? Joel Wood. They are 2 drivers you're going to be wanted to keep an eye on here for the rest of this season here. Those guys have been at it hot and heavy at each other's throats here. We have a big rivalry right now that's starting between those 2 drivers. And actually the 2 teams, they're Fastlane Racing and Woodwrench Motorsports. So something that might want to keep an eye on here as the season progresses here, that these guys have been, from what I understand now, this is just what I was told here from our weird cautions that we had in the late races of last week's late cautions we had here. It was because of the big rivalry that's going on between them. There was a big fight. I don't exactly know what happened, but all I was told is pit road was a mess.
Well, I can see how that could happen. A lot of times fights will lead in the pit road, and I'm sure there were some gas vans throwing swings at each other in the pit road, and if someone was wrecked on the pit road, that could have been fatalities. So great call by the league there. As we get ready for another restart, David Wonk's going to lead him down, Evan.
Yeah, Carl's going to be our TMZ correspondent on all the drama behind the scenes for this. We are doubled up. It's going to be a restart coming up at lap 36. It is still the number 20 machine going to be sitting on point. That is David Wink. Ryan Borges is going to be forced up to the high side after advancing to second. Don Stevenson going to be right where he was last time in P4. We'll have to see if Nick Doucette can use the advantage of being behind the control car to get through on Borges. Pace car down and away to the safety of pit road. 20 car once again in control, goes just before the green flag drops, and the 51 caught sleeping once again. That's going to hold up the 35 of Nathan Sedlak. Most importantly, going to allow Ryan Borges to get a line. Don Stevenson's got a little bit of a window of opportunity, hesitated for a moment, and then opens up the door back for the 51. Nick Doucette going to be side by side for third.
Great restart though by the 20 machine there, David Wink, as he was able to get a good jump on it. I was trying to see exactly what happened there on the restart with the Don Stevenson car there. It didn't look like he wanted to go for some odd reason, but he's up and running now. He's got it right now back into the 4th position. When I was inside his car, it was kind of neat there. It sounded like I heard him miss a shift. It sounded like he was maybe trying to start off in first gear, went to third or something. I don't know exactly what happened, but the car nosedived down, and the RPMs just did some really crazy stuff, and the car did not get moving.
Yes, that's definitely a tough break for him. He couldn't get in the line, and that hurt him and his teammate Ryan Borges right now, as they're going to have to work together to try to get back to the field. One guy who's flying through this field right now is George Bark. He is all the way up to the 7th position, starting in 14th. As we see, Don Stevens having further issues. He gets really out of shape, and he's going to get passed by his teammate Nathan Sedlak, as these Thor Motorsports cars seem to not be as dominant as they have been in past weeks.
Looks like Dominic Dyball is going to go to his outside also. So, yeah, Don Stevenson not as dominant as he has been, as you were saying, and not looking all that great. He is coming off these turns, and he is very loose as he's coming out of these turns. So I don't think he's very happy with his setup right now, as Michael Church would take a look to his inside.
Tight end loose off as that 47 overdrove quarter number 1, and PD talked about it, really had to get out of it, and the 35 was able to get up and around him, no trouble. Michael Churchma nearly had an opportunity to make it 3 wide. 15 now, contact up to the outside wall as Dominic Dyball. Hard contact for one of our front runners in all the race.
Oh, man.
Went down low, and the 88 move up. Churchma they kind
Don
of drifted into
Stevenson
each
through
other.
the grass.
Stevenson through the grass.
Now, trouble for the 47. He's down on the apron.
He
No,
got
he
keep it
slide
down there.
back up, cranking
Oh,
it
no.
left.
Dave,
Nobody,
44 hits him hard.
Gets hit hard.
47
Big
around.
wreck.
Oh,
Big
big
car,
one.
the 2.
It's the big one.
wreck. In quarter number 2, we're still wrecking as people try to slide through. The 16 of Jacob Dye in it as well. Caution flag will fly, and that's how quickly it can get real ugly.
Oh, my.
Where do we start?
We tried
3 different things that happened there at least.
I think it all started. I think I see where it started. It started with Don Stevenson in the 47. I don't know what happened, but just out of maybe the screen froze. He just went straight through the grass, seemed to regain control of the car, drove it all the way through the grass, came back up, got loose, ran on the apron as the replay goes up, tried to save it, came up on the racetrack. Everyone missed him. The 44 went high to miss him, but he was high. That sent him around sideways. No one really hit Don, but there was wrecking in front of him. Everyone, I mean, theoretically, I don't know how you describe a save, but really everyone sort of saved it there, and everyone's probably going to continue on pretty okay.
I think Don may have thought that they were going to be wrecking in front of him because David Wink had gotten into the outside wall. He had actually made contact with the 51 car of Doucette, came down on him a little bit, almost turned the 51 to Doucette. Great save by Nicholas on that one. The 20 then got in the wall, and I think that Don may have thought that they were going to start wrecking, bouncing off the wall into each other because it looked like he just darted down to the bottom. He was still playing with the throttle, and he was almost okay until he nearly got air off of that second portion of the Legends Oval there, and saved it once, hit the door of Churchman, went back down, and at that point they ran out of room, and he got run over by the 44, and there on back. But Dominic Dyball, who is the one that nearly wrecked it in 3 and 4, was also right in the middle of that mix in 1 and 2 as well. The 15 had a very eventful lap as well. He's going to stay in for damage repair.
And pit stops are wholesale right now as we're getting. It looked like just about everybody took on 4 tires this time. I didn't see any 2-tire stops except for, I'm hearing somebody said Brandon Cruz, Monsivice, and the 54 machine, the small town computer car, took 2 tires, but everybody else, it looks like, took 4.
Well, we saw it work earlier. Brandon's having a career night right now in CORA. He qualified 5th, been running around 7th or 8th all night, and now he's going to be your leader. 2-tire stop. He seems to have a strong car. I don't see no reason why Brandon Monsivice cannot remain in the lead, but other than that, things will remain pretty stable. Ryan Borges will move to 2nd. Up to 3rd will be Michael Churchma. He had a great pit stop. He's going to be all the way up to 3rd. 4th is going to be Nathan Sedlick, and 5th is going to be Nicholas Doucette. So definitely an interesting strategy call there with Brandon Monsivice. But right now, Evan, it appears though the Storm Motorsports dominance is starting to show up because, with the exception of Brandon Monsivice, we have Borges, Churchma, Sedlak, and Wenk all right up there in the lead group. So the only one's Don Stevenson, and I expect to see him make his way back to the field.
And Everett Lane had stayed out on pit road, or rather had not come down pit road, stayed out on track, and possibly in an attempt to get a bonus point for leading a lap, was 17th at the stripe because our leaders crossed the stripe down on pit road prior to that, and then the 24 car comes down this time by, so that gives that top spot, as you guys said, back in control to that number 54 machine, who is sitting on a 2-tire call. Also got a quick fix as well. We've seen quite a few drivers come down pit road, and some with minor, some with major damage. And what happens in that is you can't choose if you want to get it fixed or not. So if you have, the nose of that machine missing all the way to a little bit of a dent on that left rear quarter panel, it's going to use up that quick fix, which is something that could hurt you down the road. PD, I believe you're caught up on the radio with the driver of that number 44.
Yeah, I'm caught up on the radio with Kevin McCarthy. You got a copy?
10-4, dude.
Well, Kevin, you had bird's eye view of that wreck, so what did you see from your cockpit whenever Don Stevenson got squirrely and you made contact?
Well, just out in front of me there, seeing what was going on, and really I was just kind of dumbfounded that, especially out of the 47, that he would fly through the grass and then just bring it back up on the track instead of trying to control it. And now I've got left front damage there. Beginning of the race, I had a little problem with being out of the server and back in, and then my brakes weren't set. And I got my lap back, and now I'm got a left front damage now, but just couldn't believe that out of the 47.
All right, definitely frustrating situation for you. It sounds like you're getting ready to go green. Before I let you catch up with your crew, who do you got thanks to make that between the 44 crew? We'll be talking to you later on tonight. That was the 44 of Kevin McCarthy. So he definitely described that was a very frustrating situation for him and the crew. And up when we get ready for this restart.
Yep, getting set for restart once again, and Ryan Borges, although he's going with the 4 tires, he has yet to been able to get back to the top spot for one of these restarts. He'll be on the outside of the front row. His teammate and Michael Churchma going to be down on the inside of that second row, is going to be in P3. Sedlak up to 4th, 5th is Doucette, and our race leader is Brandon Mossavais. Everybody's stacking up now behind him, trying to anticipate that start. Green flag in here. That's going to get real ugly mid-pack, 3, 4 wide. We got a lot of contact as everybody's trying to get through the quad oval there, and now big trouble. Caution flag is out.
Yellow flag is out. We saw trouble there. Just an unfortunate restart accident. We see them every now and again, and tough break for everyone involved in that one, and definitely some torn up race cars and feelings after that wreck.
Well, it's a cautions do breed cautions, and that's exactly what happened there. Didn't exactly see as the replay goes back up. I'm trying to find out exactly what transpired there. It looks like
our in-race reporter, McCarthy.
Yeah, the 2 was right behind them. That's Chad Wilson. And for those that obviously know, if it's a little bit of a checkup up front, it's going to get real ugly in the back of that row. And
it's
everybody,
like accordion
the 44,
effect,
had to make an evasive maneuver. The 2 of Chad Wilson just ran over the 44 on the right rear of Kevin McCarthy, sent Kevin around dead right up the racetrack, and he caught the number 60 car. They went around about 3-4 cars in total. Going to get some damage from that. Don Stevenson was right there where that happened because of where he has been cycled back to. That's going to bring out yet again another caution flag, and we slow them down. Everybody has just been on pit road, and we're just shy of the 3rd mark in this race. We're going to take this opportunity to step away and take a quick caution flag of our own. You're watching the CORA Championship Online Racing Association Sunday Money Series Season 4 on LSR TV. More racing from NASCAR's backyard, the Charlotte Motor Speedway on the other side. Back live from the Charlotte Motor Speedway, Charlotte, North Carolina, for the CORA Championship Online Racing Association Sunday Money Series, Season 4 on LSR TV. And By the way, the way that they spell that, the S isn't even an S, it's a $, because winners tonight get to walk to the bank on Monday night with their prizes, as well as the overall championship. There's also championships per vehicle throughout the season, every Sunday night, qualifiers throughout the week to get to the main show. And although we see the regulars week in and week out, nothing's stopping anybody tuning in to hit up one of the 3 qualifiers, be on track in 1 week's time, and possibly walk away with some cash. Welcoming you again back up to the booth, myself, Evan Persoko, Carl Jones, PD Seller, alongside for the ride here. I was a little bit delayed, still trying to get some of this technical stuff all figured back out as I've completely reset up my computer and whatnot. But we got it rolling. It's working for now, guys, and it's been a wild one, to say the least. It's going to be just about the 1/3 mark when we go back green.
Having a little bit of technical difficulties here with my screen. That was nice. There we go. Now we got everything back up and running.
Everybody's having technical difficulties.
The gremlins are out wholesale tonight.
The full moon, so there you go.
Full moon, that's what it is. But, yeah, we're sitting here in NASCAR's backyard at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Brandon Cruz Monza Vice brings it off turn 4. Let's see what he's going to do, if he's going to stack them up one more time, or if he's going to actually... He's going to get a late start. He's going to wait till that green flag drops before he drops the hammer there. Brandon Cruz Monza Vice off into turn 1 with the lead.
Yeah, and it's great to watch. Brandon Cruz is driving right now, the wheels off that thing. He's going to clear Ryan Borges, bringing with him Michael Churchwell and George Bark.
Good George Bark, yeah.
The Daytona winner is finally finding some success. He's struggled lately in the series, but he's finding that success found early on. And here goes Montsevis way out of the way. Oh, he's way up the track, and he just, man, the 2 tires did not work for him. I think they stayed out too long. So he's struggling right now as these guys are racing hard for position right now.
Just about knocked the fence down. Dive ball, no room is being given by that 0-1 of John Pansula. 15 looks to the middle again. The 0-1 slides up and shuts the door. And now the 54 is going to be able to getting the run off the corner as John Pansula just closed in that gap between him and Brandon Cruz on that 15 to dive ball. Tried to shoot the gap that did not work. Meanwhile, side by side for the top spot, teammates, and they're leaning on each other. Advantage to Michael Churchma, this time by the start-finish line. Borges on the high side, going to have it by about 2/100ths of a second. George Bark in the middle of it all, more too wide. Now the 35 of Sedlak, the 51 of Nick Doucette in this as well. Doucette moving forward after making the 2-tire call, took 4 on the last cycle, and he's now on par with our leaders. Borges clear down at a quarter number 3 and give it to that machine.
Looks like George Barks is looking to the outside also, looking like, oh, he gets up a little bit, scrapes the wall there. As he is trying to get up to the second place, he looks like he's going to drop back maybe to around 3rd or 4th position after touching the wall there. But George Barks, he was, wow, we got a lot of action going on up here. The 51, I was just watching the 51 on Nicholas Doucette there as he got down really close. I thought he was going to go down to the apron. That's why I kind of took a breath there. I thought maybe we were going to see him going around, but he was able to contain himself, get it back up on the track where he needed to be, and he is right in behind right now, George Barks in that 42 machine. But Nicholas Doucette giving me a scare there real quick.
Yeah, right now the first battle on the racetrack is for the 5th position. Nathan Sedlak trying to get that position, and Sedlak is on the inside of the 08. The 08 machine has the advantage on the outside. The outside seems to be getting great runs off the corner. Scott Bailey's going to try to clear him, and here he goes. And right behind them is David Wenck. David Wenck is going to clear the number 37 of Gordon Burke. Is having a great race tonight. One person I'd like to make a quick note of is Don Stevenson has not been able to make up any ground. He really looked forward to the Charlotte. Race. He said NASCAR's backyard has always been a great track for him, and he's just trying to fly through this racetrack. The 37 is underneath the point, makes a contact there. As the racing is starting to intensify right now.
The 08 car is flying. There was a side-by-side battle with Nick Doucette. He challenged George Bark, had the back out of it. The 08 cleared Sedlak, and he's trying to chase down George Bark for P3. The 51 car driving it in real hard every time, but has to get on the binders as that car just not getting the grip that he needs to. He slides back now to P6, and in front of him, we're single file for the time being. Behind them, sliding down in line, the 68 machine of Damon Gilbert. Matt Clifton, also a top 10 car right now, with Mossavais just behind him. Then you got James Brown, Dominic Dyball. That is a side-by-side battle for 12th position at the moment. More challenging inside the top 10 now. Nick Doucette, although that car is really tight on entry, continues to try to make something happen, and Nathan Sedlak is able to hold them off one more time. That was the battle for P5, and Now a different battle brewing. The 37, Gordon Berkey trying to make a move on that 28, David Wing.
Also back here with one driver who was not ready to be out here battling is Don Stevenson, who started off in the 3rd position, won 4 races here in CORA, and found himself in a bunch of trouble. Has moved his way back up, though. He dropped all the way back at one time to the 27th position there after his spin, and has moved himself nicely back up into the 18th position. So Don Stevenson making a charge back up through the field.
Yeah, he certainly wants to get back up to that lead pack. He's certainly not used to racing in the back in the series. Won 4 out of the 6 races already. His teammate Ryan Board just winning the other one along with George Bark, winning the season opener at Daytona. As they are racing hard right now, though, through this pack. I mean, Don needs to find a way to get back in front quick. This isn't an easy racetrack to pass as. He's up to 17th already. And Don certainly just wants to get back up there. He wants to hang on to his points lead. As we see, Ryan Borges still lead, though, over Michael Churchma. And Churchma is having a great run tonight, too. I mean, he's usually up there around the top 5, but this is as high as I've seen him in quite some time. Running 2nd right now. He won the pole last week at Michigan, so he's trying to get that W that he so wants.
Well, I know Michael Churchman's had a monkey on his back here ever since about the mid race last year. He has had nothing but bad luck. It's nice to see Churchman running up here in the 2nd position. Maybe get that monkey off his back and get up here, get a win for Vortex Racing. Well, I mean, why not? They've been winning everything else this season.
Nathan Sedlak, guys, just made a power move to the outside on corner exit. And when you try to step that thing up the hill and make a pass when you're coming off a corner, going from the bottom to the top side, 99% of the time you're going to plant that thing in the fence. The 35 was able to do it masterfully. Got a nose to the outside of George Bark. Bark let him go on by, so Sedlak's going to get 3rd, and because that 42 backed off so much to let Sedlak by, Carl, you just mentioned it, Nick Doucette was able to take advantage of that, and now he moves that 51 Chevrolet up to what is going to be a P4 running position right now, side by side down to back straightaway, a little further back for top 10 spot contact, and the 27 event Clifton is in the fence. He was racing with Gordon Berkey, now contact the 02 is into the back of the 27. They're pointed forward the right direction, still going, going to cost both those cars. Now the 02 sideways,
the 40
we're still
in the
bouncing
grass.
off each other.
The 40's in the grass, can't hang on. He does. Everyone saves it. That was incredible driving by these CORA drivers.
They wrecked about 6-7 times. They just didn't spit them out. We stay green after the 27 and 37 made contact. Matt Clifton not going to be too happy about that exchange with Gordon Berkey.
Okay, let's get our hearts going again here as the replay goes up to see what transpired in that. I wasn't able to see that too much. You have better vantage point than I did there, Petey. What did you see in that?
I just saw the 40. I saw the 02 came down off the racetrack. I caught the second half of that wreck. Didn't quite catch the first half. The 02 was saved at came down on the 41 through the grass and made some hard contact, and he tore up that number. I mean, he could have easily tore up that 40 Chevy Camaro if he did not do such a great job saving it there. But everyone hangs on, and the racing is still active. The battle that's been brewing for quite some time now is between Michael Churchman and Nathan Sedlak, and we have seen Sedlak take over that 2nd position. So give 2nd spot to Sedlak and make the Storm Motorsports 1-2-3 right now.
And are we surprised that we see the Storm Vortex gang occupying the top 3 spots right now? George Bark getting aggressive on Michael Churchman. That is the battle for P3 at the moment. And again, George Bark, our Daytona winner, him and his teammate Jeremy Crandall started off real well. And Crandall had a couple of rough weeks. The 42 was able to kind of carry the flag for that group in about the 2nd and 3rd races, and he's had fast cars, but he has not had the results. I remember immediately Richmond got taken out a handful of times out of his own. 88 slides up into his door. That's Churchma. Nobody goes around. The 88 has to check it up. He loses some speed. Give now the top 3 spot to George Bark, but I mean, that Red Bull Chevrolet can't catch a break all season after a Daytona, and he almost had another incident there. 51 goes low. Churchman's going to shut the door on an attempted move by Nick Doucette.
Nick Doucette's going to take a look at the inside now. Churchman is rebounding from that here. He's kind of really trying to catch his breath there. He might have to pull into the pits there and maybe change the proverbial underwear, I think, after that little move there. But he's got it back rolling in the right direction where he needs to be going. But Nicholas Doucette one more time, takes a look down to the inside of Churchman before the pass. Can he make it happen? A little bit of contact there, pushes.
Oh, car around to the front stretch. It's James O'Brown. He's in the grass. He saves it. He hangs on him. Brandon Montsavis made contact off the corner, and James Brown's going to re-enter the racetrack. Can he hang on? He's going slow. He's on the apron, but he's slow enough where he can stay on the apron, and he's going to hang on with that number 00 machine.
Austin Weiss caught the fence at a 4-0, tapped him, got loose to the grass, did a good job of backing it down. Really had to slow that thing down so that when he cut the apron in 1 and 2 without that banking, that car's not going to turn. And that's how we saw that earlier incident happen. And the 00 was able to back that thing down to the point that he was able to ride around 1 and 2 on the apron, get back up on the back straightaway, accelerate through, and now coming out of 4, trying to get back up to speed is that 00 of James Brown. He will lose significant time, though, to pretty much everybody else. It's going to drop him back to just in front of the 24 of Everett Lane, about P23. It's going to be for the 00 of James Brown. So tough break for that team. However, it is better than putting that thing in the fence and being behind the wall. But lots of contact now. 68 and the 20 going to be digging hard. David Wink, Damon Gilbert. That is for P7.
Back up here now with Michael Churchman, Nicholas Doucette. They have been beating and banging on each other. Nicholas Doucette and has been doing everything he can. Finally makes it around Churchman. He beat on that back bumper and rear quarter panel of Churchman there for approximately 3.5 laps. I just sat there watching with amazement, watching Doucette as he was working he just worked Churchman over. I have never seen him do something like that. That was some really, really. I'm at a loss for words there after watching Doucette. That was some good driving, though.
Yeah, up here up front, though, continuing to watch George Bark closing on Nathan Sedlak. And one thing I've noticed this season is, Carl, that right now, as the battle heats up, the 47 has caught up to the 15 car. As this season progresses, the 42 of George Bark has seemed to be the only kryptonite for the Storm Motorsports guys. We have seen them have some great runs, but it seems like every week, George Bark's always up there, and he has been their quote-unquote kryptonite this season.
Take a look here now as Nathan Sedlak is going to work his way around the lap 66 car there. George Bark is not catching him anymore. He was catching him there for quite a while. It looks like Nathan has been able to pick up now almost a full 3/4 of a second on George Bark. George Bark might be kind of slowing down here because Nathan went around a lap car and was still able to pull out about maybe 0.2 of a second on that last lap on him.
Yeah, and that has definitely been unfortunate for him. So right now, as things are getting hotter, I mean, this race has just been fun to watch. There's been action all night, everywhere going on. And right now, we have seen some excellent battling right now. Don Stevens is all the way back up to 9th. Certainly flying through this field, and the 4-time winner of the season wants to make it 5 tonight, but he has a long way to go. And he still is around 75 laps to get there, so right now, though, nothing has really changed up front. Top 5 is still Borges, Sedlak, Bark, Doucette, and Churchma as Evan Pasogo is back.
Dominic Dieball into the outside wall one more time here as they go down the back stretch. I think he was anticipating the 0-2 going around there as they go around him, and that did not happen. He got up there on the outside wall, and that caused Don Stevenson and Damon Gilbert to get past him that last lap.
And
also,
I'm impressed right now with that
Gordon
68.
Berkey and John Pansuka passed him also.
I'm impressed with Damon Gilbert digging right now. Qualified 13th position. Sits right behind David Wink at the moment, but he put in a hard-fought effort at Michigan as well, and right now is a top 10 car. Single file in front of them as the 08 of Scott Bailey get a slide back as Michael Churchma and him have been battling for the top 5 spot.
Contact.
Brandon Cruz Ponce-Weiss, wow, coming off of turn 4 there, just lost it and got rear-ended by Salacardi. Salacardi had to get on the binders hard, smoke from the back tires of that car as he just about made that all one car there between Salacardi and Ponce-Weiss as he hit him hard in the rear end.
Tough contact there. Tough break for Brandon Ponce-Weiss, who started up front on this last restart and was leading them. 2-tire strategy has not worked out for him. He's kind of settling himself around this 14th, 13th position right now. So tough break for him, as he certainly, I'm sure, wants to be up there racing for the win. If we get more late cautions, I mean, there's no reason he can't. He's had a spectacular car all night. As Nicholas Doucette continues to close in on the 42 of George Bark, he wants to get on that podium. And right now, though, another closing in is Nathan Sedlak is closing in Ryan Borges fast. Borges has not had the long run car he needed all night, and it's showing once again. Here comes Sedlak. Sedlak wants to take over the lead.
Hey, Matt Clifton, after getting involved in an earlier incident, is digging. We got a big hornet's nest, guys, right around P14. They've been too wide, about 3 rows deep for these positions back here, and Clifton just about split this whole group. Went from the high side, ducked down low at about a truck length plus 1 spot of gap, and slid back down in line and was able to get clear. And now he checks out on that 54 and the 25. Amasaves and Smith as well. Jeffrey Smith on the bottom, trying to hold off the 81 car of Colton Berkey. This spot just outside for about P16. Now a slow car in front of them. Lap traffic. Going to go 3 wide around that car down the front straightaway. And actually the 54 is going to back out of it. Not enough room. Almost contact with the 81. They hang on to it. But even back here for 15th, as we're still side by side for the top spot, everybody digging. Sedlak going to finally get that number 1 position for P1. The 32 slides back. Borges could not make it work on the high side. He tucks in line, but he's not done yet.
Yeah, Petey, you touched on it before there. It doesn't seem like Borges has the long-run car that he needs to have. He had himself a nice lead. He was up to about a second and quarter lead here over Borges. Borges was able to run him down here in the past 4 or 5 laps now, and got up here and let's try this the other way around. Sedlak ran Borges down over the past 4 or 5 laps here now, and has taken the lead as Nicholas Doucette now is threatening to take the 2nd position.
Yeah, Nicholas Doucette certainly wants to take over that 2nd position, but he has quite a ways to go. Not that quite a ways to go. Actually, 3/10. Nicholas Doucette caught these leaders. He recently got around George Barker, Kryptonite, to storm this season. And in 5th is Michael Churchma, but he has a lot of mess in his mirror. Scott Bailey's trying to get around him, so he's going to have problems here in a second. And Scott Bailey's actually going to dive down under him, but he will not quite get the bumper he needed there. As we continue our Don Stevenson watch, Don Stevenson has worked his way back up to 8th now, and he is catching this battle quickly for 6th and 7th. So it seemed like his night may be hurting a little bit earlier, but Don Stevenson's not going away quietly ever.
He sits right now at what is going to be P8, catching very quickly. Was that 20 car closing in on him was David Wank. Wank P7 just in front of him right now. Stevenson got a great run through 3 and 4 the last time by. Made up a lot of track position on him as they were battling that last time by, especially the front straightaway, a lot of straightaway speed. On board right now with that 47. Take a look up at David Wank just up in front of him. And the 47 in the P8 position, many would think that that's a great improvement, but that's still not what the 47 wants after the way his season has gone. He expects for himself to at least be a top 3 car on a bad night, because that Storm Motorsports entry of Don Stevenson has been the victory lane more than any other driver this year, actually more than any of the other drivers all combined. Total is at 47. He's able to get that 20 car, move him up to P7. Now he's got a pretty substantial gap of just about 1.5 seconds before he can catch the machine in 6th place, which is going to be Scott Bailey's machine. So he may be forced to ride around a little bit, but guys, don't look now. The 51 of Nick Doucette, he's gotten around Ryan Borges, closing in quickly now on Nathan Sedlak for the top spot.
Our young gun here, Nicholas Doucette, is making a charge up here to the front now as he's going to take a look down to the inside of Nicholas Doucette, see if he can get a bumper up on him, which he does, and see if he's going to be able to get up here and make the pass. That's the question, though, as they go through the quad oval here. He is going to take one more look down going into turn 1. Sedlak is going to slam the door. Nicholas is going to take it down even lower. He's down on that white line, just painting the line down there, as they say, but nothing going. He is still going to drop it back into 2nd place as they go into turn number 3.
Yeah, as they go around the lap car, Kevin McCarthy here around 5th. As we go around more lap cars for the lead, Nicholas Doucette, the young gun, the impressive kid, only 13 years old, out of Canada. He's going to go below the number 35 of Nathan Sedlak. The 13-year-old wants a chance to win this race, and he's going to try to get by Nathan Sedlak. And he's racing side by side right now. The 35's right there. His teammate Borges is not close enough to help. Doucette's going to have to fall back in the line. And Carl, this might be something you might know, but I don't know the official stat, but I know you have to be 13 to join iRacing, so if Nicholas Doucette was to win this race, would he be the youngest ever winner in CORA?
Yeah, well, actually, Nicholas Doucette, a couple seasons ago, when he was 11 years old, actually won two races in a season. So, yeah, he is one of the youngest drivers to win in CORA. Well, he is the youngest driver to win in CORA, and he is right now taking a look all the way now to the inside of Sedlak, because he is going to make this pass stick here going into turn number 3.
Now real tight on entry, but he's able to get such a run off. 51 back to the accelerator and gone. P1 now for Nick Doucette after starting at 8th. He sits atop the speed charts right now. It is Nathan Sedlak who will slide back at a number 2 spot. Ryan Borges has not dropped out of this quite yet. He still sits in 3rd position. George Bark is kind of in no man's land at the moment. He's at least a second away from our leaders and almost 2 seconds to the good over the next car behind him, 5th place, which is Michael Churchman. So George Bark riding around right now, enjoying the change of luck per se, but there's still a lot of racing left to go, and we've seen many a time you can run a strong race and just be taken out in something that is really not of your own doing late in the race, and it'll really sting you into points.
We just had a fight that wasn't even really a fight, man, because Don Stevenson just ran down Scott Bailey in about 3 laps, made the pass, no challenge whatsoever by Scott. Scott just moved up high, let Don Stevenson go as Don's moving his way up through the field now as he's coming up to the inside of Michael Churchman. So put that position now up to 6th for Don Stevenson, soon to be 5th.
Yeah, and Don Stevenson charging through this field. He doesn't want to have anything of this hanging around the back. That's not the name of his game, as he's going to try to make his way back up to this lead as he is now in the 5th position. He has a little ways to go. He has closed in almost 2 seconds in the last portion of this race, and he still has to go try to catch Nicholas Doucette, who is just pulling away right now from Nathan Sedlak. Doucette has a strong long-run car, and he didn't have quite the short-run car he needed, but boy, Evan, we're learning right now, he does have quite a great long-run car.
Got a little bit of a hint at that when we saw how well he was able to really hang with our leaders. He did get past, but he didn't let him run away with it on those 2 tires. Once he got back on track with our leaders, cycled back down the next stop after that tire strategy call, took 4 tires, and now found himself as a top 5 car. He was able to get the job done. And I mean, he's gotten out in front and he's checking out on Nathan Sedlak. That's not an easy task. That 35 machine sliding back now to nearly a second, 1.5 seconds back now as Ryan Borges from the top spot. It is the Nicholas Doucette show as they run right now. Our race leader just ran a 29.5. We'll tell you the lap times of everybody in the top 5 to give you a little bit of a comparison here. Sedlak running a 29.6, Borges with a 29.6 as well, as long with George Bark a 29.6, a 29.5, however, for Don Stevenson. The only thing that's hurt that 47, he's got a 4+ second gap back from Nick Doucette. So if Stevenson can get a caution here, that 47 is still one of the fastest cars on track.
Well, I tell you, the way he's been going, that 4 second is going to evaporate quickly because he has just been charging through this field. He ran down Scott Bailey from about 2 seconds back in like 3 or 4 laps. So if he's able to continue this and keep going, he's going to have George Bart's passed here probably within the next 5 laps, and it's not going to take him long. He is just hauling through this field.
Give you guys a little bit of an image. Whenever the caution came out and we got the restart, he restarted in the 26th position. Now you have to put that into, I think we've found about green for about 40 laps. I think is a safe number. If we restarted about 50, on about lap 50 I think it was, so he's passed almost, now it is 22 cars in just 40 laps, so he is flying through this field. Don Stevenson is on a rail. He is running laps. The only one that's even comparing to him right now is Nicholas Doucette, our leader, but I still think he might need a caution though, as this race is starting to toughen up here.
It has been an impressive charge to start that deep back, and I mean only be 4 seconds out of it right now, so he has to pass all those cars, and you think typically it's going to put you in that much of a bigger hole, but he's done a solid job. Ryan Borges now starting to slowly drop off the pace that he was setting earlier, really sliding back now into the clutches of that 42 of George Bark. Looks like Bark may be better than Borges down in 1 and 2. It appears that's where that Red Bull entry is making up the majority of its time, but closing in on Burning now. That would be a battle for P3 if these two were able to get bumper to bumper on each other and put on a fight side by side with the 01 machine of John Panzuli. He's able to get around some lap traffic. That is the 50 car as he tries to chase down David Wink. That is one of the closest battles on the lead lap as well, which would be for P9. Nick Doucette able to get around some more lap traffic, no problem. Keep an eye on George Bark and Ryan Borges. These guys starting to come closer and closer for P3.
I'm really impressed here with that Nicholas Doucette run. He has opened up a 1.5 second lead now and is just pulling away from these guys. 13-year-old kid out here running against these pretty much all veterans. Most of them are all stock car drivers or ex-stock car drivers. And this young gun coming out here and just embarrassing every single one of them. That's just kind of makes me laugh. I get a smile every time I think about it. But Nathan Sedlak, he is trying to close in here. He was at almost 2 seconds back. He's still almost 2 seconds back, but he was right on the 1.99 seconds. He's close down to 1.8. I don't know if that has anything to do with Doucette having to go around some lap traffic there, but he looks like he might be picking up a little bit of speed right now.
Yeah, and he certainly is picking up some speed right now. Right now, the two fast cars on the racetrack are that Doucette and Stevenson machine. The only difference is Doucette's 4 seconds ahead of Stevenson, so Stevenson's definitely going to want to see a caution come out so he can get caught back up to the field and get up to pace with everyone. Although right now he's passing that 42 of George Bark. Give the 4th position to Don Stevenson. That car's on rails right now. His biggest issue right now is caution is out on the racetrack. His caution's out. We're going to try to locate that one. I see a car spinning off
shy.
It's the 00 and 79. They wrecked out of turn number 4, and they were just shy of green flag pit stops.
Just shy of those stops, just shy of the 2/3 mark, and more contact as they try to get pointed forward in the right direction, down on the 8. But it all starts essentially with that 00 machine of James Brown just having some trouble. The 2 car slid up into him. It actually turned him. That was Chad Wilson. Both of these guys were 1 lap down. Wilson slid up, and it's been a rough night for James Brown. Gets turned because of that, hard into the outside wall. A little bit of a connection thing there. It looks like the nose started to levitate on that one. And then an innocent bystander in Joel Wood, who has been trying to recover from trouble early, guys, gets involved in that as well. And back to the back, that 79 car goes. And we slow them back down for a caution just as Nick Doucette was starting to use the advantage of that long green flag run to pull away. I do believe Sedlak and Borges may be stronger on a short run. We're all going to be bringing them down pit road this time by. So it'll be interesting to see how they fare once we get back going. But the 51 going to lead us down.
Well, I'm going to be down here in the Don Stevenson pit to see what he's going to do right now. He has moved his way all the way up to the 4th position as he's going to slide himself into his pit stall there. Perfect stop right there in his pit box. As the right side of his car goes up, they're going to definitely put on 2 tires. Let's see if they're going to take 4. I believe that they will after this. Is quite a long run. Yes, they're going to take 4 tires, full fuel, make a couple adjustments there if they need it, but I don't think Don Stevens is going to need it. Looks like everybody's going to go with 4 tires up here my way.
Yeah, everyone took actually 4 tires. It looks as though the 35 got a speeding penalty, so 35 of Sedlak's going to have to go all the way back to the end of the longest line. He'll be about 23rd by the time it all shuffles through. And up to 2nd, that'll make Ryan Borges and Stevenson the 3rd.
I can't see where that penalty is coming from. I think it may have been on entry. I'm trying to confirm that, but it was definitely not on exit because, again, the kind of recently these pit road speed limits were bumped up, and Sedlak came down at the 50 mile an hour mark. I believe it is 50, and he was told that it was 55. He left 55 on exit, got the speeding penalty. So some misinformation in that Storm Motorsports group is going to hurt that 35. It's going to cost him a lot from the front row all the way going to the back. And that's something that you don't want to make a mistake on because you can see the consequences right there. Tough break.
Well, the big winner on that one was, it wasn't a winner because he went in first, came out first. Nicholas Doucette went in first. Ryan Borges right behind him. Don Stevenson came out in 3rd position. George Barks in 4th. And in the 5th position, it looks like Damian Gilbert came out in 5th position after that pit stop.
Really excited for this restart. Probably the most excited I've ever been for a restart in my entire life because we're going to get to see the 47 of Stevenson Doucette duel. I believe that Stevenson has the full package tonight. His car was really great on short runs earlier in this race, and he seemed pretty good stout on long runs too. So we're going to get to see the veteran Don Stevenson go for 5 for 7 this tonight. But also, he's going to have to deal with the young gun, Nicholas Doucette, the spectacular young man out of Canada, going for his first win on the season. But he's going to have to deal with the 47 of Don Stevenson, who's right behind him.
And now 2/3 of the way through this race, officially on the downhill side of things, as Nick Doucette has been able to retain that number 1 spot. Ryan Borges picks up 1 again via that number 1 pit stall, having that advantage. And even if the 47 did not get the speeding penalty, Borges did beat him off the pit lane. So that number 32 is not, once again going to find himself on the outside of the front row, which is where he was on this most recent restart just about nearly 50 laps ago. So one of the best green flag runs we've seen all night. Took a 3rd out of this race, and Nick Doucette now, as everybody gets waved around the pace car, going to get up behind the iRacing Ford First Mustang pace car. Going to be about a 48 lap to go restart in this one. Doucette P1, Borges going to be in second. Don Stevenson third. Uh-oh, look out. That's bad news for everybody in front of him. George Bark fourth as well. This going to get real excited between these four guys at least.
Yeah, it's going to get real exciting really quick as they're coming down the backstretch one more time here before they go back to green. Nicholas Doucette's going to lead them down the young gun. Ryan Borges is going to be to his outside. So it's going to be interesting to see what Don Stevenson can do on this restart and see if he can get any positions before Nicholas Doucette's tires come in and he takes off one more time, because that boy, once those tires came in, that car was just gone.
Yeah, and Don Stevenson didn't have too shabby of a long-run car himself, though. And I think
absolutely, you're right, yeah.
But he was also going on the short one, so we'll see this here. Stevenson definitely pre-start. Here we come for the reset. Doucette's going to lead him down to the green flag. Pace car is off. Doucette P1. Here we go. He takes off right away. Gets a great restart. Stevenson's going to follow through. Will he get by Borges as they go off in turn number 1?
Borges at a disadvantage there because he kind of had to hang back. 51, she's getting shot out of a cannon. 3 wide now. George Bark to the bottom and a 68 to the bottom on him. Borges now gets clear of George Bark. The 42 couldn't keep a nose there, and they double file out now between the 42 Red Bull entry and that 68 on the bottom as it was Damon Gilbert trying to make the aggressive move. Top 3 single file out. Give Borges P2. George Bark slides into third, and Damon Gilbert digging hard. He wants it from Scott Bailey. They continue to battle. Coming out of quarter to number 4. Not quite clear is that number 68 of Damon Gilbert. Bailey still holding just a nose on him on the outside lane, and gonna dig hard now into the corner. The left lane racing entry. Look at that. Scott Bailey on the high side. Drove it into the corner. Got back to the gas. What a pass.
On the last restart, we were looking at Don Stevenson thinking, well, maybe his good luck streak is over. He's starting 26th position. On this restart, started third and has worked his way all the way back up here into second position. So Don Stevenson charged through this field.
There's a caution out of the racetrack. They're wrecking back here. I'm trying to find this wreck. There's cars in the grass. They're driving through. I see the 50 involved. The 50 of Dustin Lee was involved in this one, and he was actually right around near the start of it. In front of him, it looks like that the number 8 machine of Martin Porter managed to just lose it by himself. In turn number 3 and 4, he got loose, saved it, hung on, and they all went into the wall, and then the 50 got turned. There was actually multiple incidents, I believe.
25 car, there was contact in front of these guys. The 24 just got sideways, and this incident really going to be caused by all 3 fast lane cars. The 24 gets sideways. Salicardi almost gets into the back when they hang on. 24 with another bobble, and it was Jeffrey Smith. Replay's coming up now. You see the 25 tries to go high, anticipating a possible incident between the 39 and the 24. That machine then gets loose. He goes down in the grass, overcorrects it. Huge link into the wall, bounces out, takes up their third and final teammate. The 02 car gets involved in that. Mitchell Reeves up and over, and that was a very expensive lap there for the fast lane team. All 3 of their cars.
Well, the only one that didn't have any damage out of that was the 24 car there of Everett Lane. He got a little sideways, got everything started, but didn't touch anything, didn't get hit by anybody, so he was able to keep that car clean. But yeah, everybody else out there really badly damaged on the Fast Lane Motorsports team there, as 2 of the cars just took out each other. So Everett Lane starting it all, and yeah, he wasn't damaged too awful badly. I'm taking a look at his car now, and it looks like it's pretty clean. So he's just going to go in here, take 4 tires, and he's going to go back out on the track.
Yeah, so that was, like Evan said, a very costly wreck for that team. I remember earlier in this broadcast we heard that Carl was talking about the rivalry between Fastlane and Wood Wrench. We didn't think the rivalry was between Fastlane itself, so that was very unfortunate for that team. Although they are going to move forward in this one. Right here in NASCAR's backyard, getting ready to battle on this 1.5-mile quad oval for yet another victory. I mean, for yet another victory Don Stevenson's going to try to get from Nicholas Doucette. He wants to keep the Storm Motorsports mad streak alive. They could go for 6 for 7 tonight, I believe it is, and that's just insane. This is the most dominance I've ever seen of one team in a series, but Nicholas Doucette trying to crash their party tonight.
And it's interesting to say, but Nick Doucette's going to be cheering for Don Stevenson right now because he does not want George Bark to really get around that 47. That would then allow Don Stevenson to be able to get to the inside if there were to be another restart in third. And it's contradictory to say that because the 47 is going to be on the outside. So in theory, this next restart should give the advantage to that 42 machine of George Bark. If Bark is able to get through, if we were to get another caution, then that would slide that 47 into the inside of that third row, and then in theory give him the optimum position, excluding that control car for the restart. But definitely the 51, the 47, the 42, as well as Ryan Borges in fourth, all very fast machines. They've been up front all race long and are definitely serious contenders in this one. Carl, I believe you have queued up on the radio once again the driver of that number 44 machine, Kevin McCarthy.
Hey, Kevin, this is Carl up here in the LSR TV booth. You got a copy?
10-4, go ahead.
It looks like you've been having a rough night out there, Kevin. What have you seen so far? What's been going on out there?
A lot of guys are loose off of 4, what it looks like, and I think when the guys are tight together, it takes away from an optimal line that they've got. And most guys are got a certain line that they've been running, and I just think as soon as they get tightened up and off of 3 and 4, if they're low on the track, it just checks them up so hard that they start to lose the back end, and then there's checking up going on. Everybody else has still got their foot in it, so they just end up running over each other, I think.
Well, they call you the voice out here of CORA on the racetrack during race night. Usually these guys here at TV Land don't get to hear you too awful much, so it's kind of a treat having the police officer of CORA here in the booth with us tonight and out here racing. Do you look like you're going to be running any other races this season?
I'd definitely be running the Indy cars. I thought I would have run this because I had a fairly good set under me, and did get back after some technical issues and got back on the lead lap. Was up to 17th position or somewhere around there, rolling forward from last place, and then of course the issue that I had with the 47 and just totally ruined my whole day. So I sat in the pits, optional repairs. Now I'm just running around collecting laps, trying to move up position as much as I can, giving everybody room, giving everybody respect out there, and the chance of leaders not go around if they end up coming up on me. But just I think it's pretty slippery, and a lot of guys want to get going, and some guys are checking up. We're going green right now, and thanks to you guys bringing me up to the broadcast. I appreciate it. Good luck on the rest of the broadcast.
And that's Kevin McCarthy, everybody. I'd like to thank him for stopping in with us.
Green flag in the air. Nicholas Doucette takes right off. Don Stevenson's going to slide right into the second slot. Here we go. They're going to be battling for the lead here. This time Doucette to knock it away from Stevenson, and Stevenson's going to be right there to battle with Doucette. This is for the victory, folks.
At a 51, clear down the back. 47, challenging from second spot. George Bark in third. Ryan Borges in fourth. So they all ride single file right now the way they started. Action back at the pack. The 88 of Michael Churchman. P8 battling with the 20 of David Wank, who is in seventh. Churchman now we got some cars going around at a quarter to number 4. Everybody trying to hang on to it. The 24 of Everett Lane. Once again, squirrely. He's able to hang on to it, but turn 4 has not been happy to the 2-4. Now we got more trouble spinning in 1 and 2. Hard in the outside wall. Sedlak is in the wreck as well. Up into the outside fence goes somebody else, and 3, 4, 5 cars in this one out of the corner. Salicardi involved as well.
Cars all over the place as my Sedlick is just destroyed here. The replay is going to go up, and there's another Storm car. I can't recognize it though. There's too much damage to it. It is the 88 of Michael Churchma. That's 2 Storm Motorsports cars destroyed. I don't think they'll be able to repair their car. He actually caused it. As we, I think Evan, you got a better view on that wreck than I did.
Yeah, I was talking about that side-by-side battle with Churchma and that 20 of David Wink, and we took a quick moment to kind of jump away from that to see Everett Lane having trouble at a quarter number 4 yet again, and by the time we were able to get back to it, it was the 88 who, just slid up the hill, got in there too hard, and both caught the 15 and the 20, who were essentially nose-to-nose on the outside lane. And that 20 machine goes around into the outside wall. He comes back down. The 35 of Sedlak hits him, and then those first few guys that got together slide down the racetrack as well, and that causes more chaos. Dominique Dieball in this one as well. The 81, that looks like a couple of teammates involved in that one. Some Worthwrench guys in that. 2 more Vortex cars as well. The 27 in it, and just big junk. And that was because that incident started in the top 10. The fact that we still had 20 plus cars on the lead lap, everybody's still trying to cycle through that relatively tightly packed together. And, I mean, there's nothing that you can really do in some of those situations beside if you're the guy spinning, lock it up. And if you're some of the other guys, try to lock it up too, or try to find a hole, because the closing rate's so fast at that point, there's really not a lot of places you can put that car in the center of the corner.
Well, I'm down here in the pit stall of Nathan Sedlick. Let's see if they're going to be able to get any kind of damage fixed on this car here. I don't know if he had his quick repairs done or not. Looks like he's going to take 4 tires. And no, Nathan Sedlick sitting on pit road with
he took behind the wall.
A lot of damage.
Sedlick took it behind the wall along with Michael Churchman still there. Churchman doesn't have a Churchman, I believe, does not repair, and I don't think he does. He is probably unfortunately done. The 20 does not have a repair. He is done. That's 3 out of the 5 Storm cars. They are going to either DNF or run around significantly slower in the back. So this will leave it down to Don Stevenson to keep the great streak alive, not just for Storm Motorsports, but for himself. The 47 has been spectacular as of late, and he doesn't want to let up tonight, but he's going to have to go through the young gun Nick Doucette.
I believe that Churchman is still in his car trying to get repairs, but I cannot see in that car. Again, still relatively new to iRacing is, even if they
he needs to get out of there.
Get out of the car, as long as they don't escape out, their car will stay on pit road. But I mean, that thing's got to be on fire. It's still blowing up. I'm seeing flashes of white smoke, and I'm gonna get the fire crews down there or something, because that thing still pouring heavy black smoke. Soon we're not going to be able to see here on the front straightaway. It's starting to drift across the grass here, start to get up to the grandstands and the tower where we are, but that is a lot of smoke still coming out of that 88 car.
I actually believe he's passed out in there. I think that's why he's not getting out of the car. He is probably suffocating all the smoke. So I hope he's okay, Caro.
That's big news, though. We got 3 of the 5 Storm
is in the car. I found an angle. We can see him. He is in there on the onboard. He can't see out, though. He can't see out. I mean, that thing...
Are they passing him oxygen?
Yeah, if you know it, and on iRacing, if you lose the engine, it'll be kind of signified with a puff of white smoke, and you'll hear it. And I'm not sure if anybody else has seen this, but on my screen, it looks like that thing just keeps blowing up the engine every 5 seconds. Something is severely wrong with that number 88 car.
Well, we brought Jacob Nye. Decided he's going to stop into the booth here with us now that he's out of the race here. He's had a rough night. It's been a wild night out here, Jacob. What have you been seeing, buddy?
I've been trying to keep open eyes on it, minus my frustrations. It's just hard-nosed racing. These guys are racing really tight, and there's a single group, and if you get off that group, it's torture. You have to pass on the outside, it seems like, where the momentum is, but if you get on the inside and get a little tight, they're drifting up and causing some major issues. It's going to be interesting to see here what happens at the end. I know a couple guys who are adding a little tape here at pit stop to get some more downforce and loosening those cars up for a short run. A lot of them are figuring on maybe another caution or 2 here before the end of the race.
Well, they form them up here on the backstretch. We're getting ready to go green next time by. Nicholas Doucette, Don Stevenson are going to be the top 2. George Bark, Ryan Borges right behind them. So let's see what kind of a restart Nicholas Doucette has. He had a really good restart last time. Don Stevenson now is on his outside. This is the first time Don's been back up here in the front since at the very front of the field since his incident earlier on in the race. So let's see what Don Stevenson has for Nicholas Doucette, as he is one of the last Storm cars left. George Barks, he's right there. He might be a spoiler in this too.
And here they go. Looks like once again Doucette gets a great restart. This time George Bark's going nowhere. George Bark will put it right underneath Don Stevenson, not what Stevenson wanted to see. We're getting down to the closing laps, and everyone knows it's go time. And here comes George Bark. He's through to second. I think it's the first time all season we haven't seen a Storm car in the 1-2, but tonight it is happening. Doucette, the leader. He has trouble coming from behind, though. George Bark, hang on. George Bark knows how to get to victory lane. He did it in race number 1. Here comes Bark. Bark seems to have a very fast car right now, Evan, and Doucette might have trouble in his mirror.
Doucette's a 2 wide inside the top 10. First battle, the 68 of Damon Gilbert down low. Ryan Borges as well. They got to get around the 39 of Sal Licardi. 3 wide as they cycle through there, and a good job of everybody getting through that mix. But it is Ryan Borges trying to maintain his positioning over Damon Gilbert, and it's going to be the runoff of 2 that gets the job done. Now we look back at the battle just behind them. The 29 of Dylan Ackert on the bottom. He's battling the 08 of Scott Bailey as well. The 08 we've seen make passes up high, but right now the advantage to the bottom through and clear is Dylan Ackert. So those two sets of two wide battles now single file out inside the top 10, more side by side just outside of it with the 37 and the 2 cars going at it. That is Gordon Berkey and Chad Wilson for about P7. Just behind them, Brandon Cruz Monsivice, who has moved to been able to get up to a 7th position. He continues to try to get up through the field, but it looks like there now, guys, Nick Doucette, the class of the field, he's opening up his gap over George Bark between P1 and 2.
Big news here. Looks
Don
like
Stevenson.
Don Stevenson has lost connection or something because he is not on the racetrack.
He
yeah,
just dropped out.
That's the 3rd place
Wow.
car. He is out of the event, folks. Stevenson is no longer here. I saw him drop out of TeamSpeak. I was about to comment, and there he is out of the event. So Stevenson, the 3rd place runner, 4-time winner of the season, he is not going to he's not going to be able to get a top 5 in this event. He is out of it. He might be able to get back in here and salvage something, but it certainly will not be a win, and that will give over 3rd to Ryan Borges in the 32, the pole setter. He might have something for the leaders, but right now the 42 of George Bark and the numbers 51 of Nicholas Doucette are pulling away. And speaking of pulling away, there goes Doucette. Without Stevenson in the field, I think Doucette can just say goodbye.
That's got to be a sigh of relief for the driver of that 51, and it is the iRacing equivalency of a mechanical failure, of a flat tire, of a blown engine, whatever you want to call it. Nonetheless, it is going to send that Stevenson machine behind the wall after all of that attrition, all race long, battling back, just shy of 30 laps to go. Drops the connection, is yet to return, and slotting back easily. Going to drop outside of the top 20 unless he's able to get back out here on track very soon, because he's already lost 3 laps and again has not reconnected. Probably may not even rejoin in just disgust, because what a tough break, completely out of his control, and it happens time to time. You don't expect it, and there's really no way to prevent it. A huge loss to Don Stevenson, and although there is a chase for the championship coming up later in the year, and you know, it doesn't really matter that he's going to lose some points here in the regular season. He does expect a lot out of himself, and he has been so strong all year long. That's really the first sign of some major bad luck that we've seen for Stevenson.
Well, I know I'm going to be staying out of the Storm Motorsports room here after this race and probably for some time to come. I went in and wished them good luck earlier on in the race today, and I told them, I said, you think anybody's going to beat you guys? Are you guys going to finish 1, 2, 3? I said, we'll be talking to you on the podium. And they said, hey, you know what, that could be bad luck for us. And guess what?
Oh, man.
So you've given them the commentator's curse by...
I gave them the commentator's curse.
That
Michael
crystal
Churchman's
ball,
gonna
Carl.
rejoin the racing surface, and I might have said that George Bark's the kryptonite, but it turns out it's actually Carl Jones. I apologize for that error. Is right now, speaking of George Bark, he's in 2nd right now, but right now he is no match for Nick Doucette. And as I say that, actually he's starting to close in a little bit on Doucette. Maybe George Bark's been saving his car this whole race. Evan, do you think that could be the case, or do you think Doucette's just saving a little something for the end?
Well, George Bark, he was able to close in about half a tenth the last time by. The gap 46 100ths of a second between Nicholas Doucette and George Bark. From there on back, they're a second to the good over Ryan Borges and Damon Gilbert. Gilbert, again, still impresses how the 68 machine has been able to run solid throughout the race here. The 88 machine of Michael Churchman down on pit road, getting tires on that machine. He just brought it back down pit road, and that thing is no longer constantly blowing up. Over another tough break for one of these Storm Vortex cars, because he's outside of the top 20.
And we still have
caution.
We have caution on the
Racetrack
speedway here.
just
One more
changes
time.
everything. Caution is out
Trouble
there.
in turn 2. The 20. Oh, we're still wrecking. Trouble down the back. Wow. The 44 of Kevin McCarthy just slid, and he was in that initial incident. It happened with the 20 car. And Kevin McCarthy, actually, we'll talk about the initial incident. David Wink in quarters number 1 and 2 just got sideways. Coming into the corner, arced it real in, got sideways to the apron, tried to hang on, slid up the racetrack, locked up the brakes, and was just clipped by that 44. Caution's out. Kevin McCarthy goes bottom, PD, slides up the track, and the 50 somehow, Dustin Lee is able to see that car was sliding up the hill, make an evasive move over to the high side. Otherwise, he would have been hard on the fence as well. That was nearly a tough break for that number 50 machine, because that could have gotten a lot more ugly than it did, as that 44 was slotted around without an engine.
I'm at a complete loss of words right now.
Oh, and by the way, this means we're going to get another restart, and that gap that Nick Doucette just made, gone.
Well, we're looking here. Ryan Borges, I think, is the last hope right now for Storm Motorsports, as he's in a Vortex car sitting up here in the third position. Everybody else from Storm is gone. But we do have Ryan Borges sitting up here. He is going to try to fly the flag high for Storm Motorsports and see if he can bring that car into at least a podium position tonight. Looks like everybody's going to come down pit road one more time.
You set easily off pit road first. Oh my goodness, it seems like there was a bunch of 2 tires. Borges was the first one on 4. He's going to get out way behind everyone. So Storm's one hope might just be eliminated. There's only 20 laps to go. I don't think he has enough time. This is amazing what we're seeing tonight. Storm is being denied.
Decimated.
They're being completely decimated.
The 8 car was in line, and he was ready to bring it down pit road. Martin Porter faked it out. Does not come down pit road, and he right now sits in the top spot. Going to the apron, may come down this time by. He at least stayed out to get 1 bonus point, but let's see if he stays out or if he does indeed tuck it down onto the pit lane this time. He cycles out of quarter number 4, and we'll see the answer on this one. It looks like that 8 car is going to stay out for it, and he's, I guess, hoping that he can ride a couple of yellows here to the end, but that also changes everything as a wild call, or rather a no call after he faked him out at the last second. Again, it is 2 tires for Nick Doucette, and then you got George Bark out on 2 tires as well. Chad Wilson now up in the mix as well. That's the number 2 car. The strategy's all over the place now.
Yeah, but the strategy, I believe, is going to go to Nicholas Doucette. They're taking the 2 tires, Martin Porter. I have a funny feeling we're just going to see him fall back through the field. He doesn't have anything out there, I don't think. He hasn't been able to get up here and run with these guys too awful much today. But as far as Nicholas Doucette, we've already seen what Nicholas can do on 2 tires, and that's exactly what he did this time. So I think he's got the best chance out of that. Of course, don't count out George Bark sitting right there in the 3rd position either.
Definitely do not. I'm sure a lot of you new fans watching this event are probably wondering why we keep making such a big deal out of the Storm Motorsports guys. Well, they've won 5 out of the 6 races this season, 4 of them coming at the hands of Mr. Don Stevenson, and we've seen them basically be 1, 2, 3 almost every event so far this season. Well, right now they're 22nd, 20th, and whereas Wank, he is 17th, so, and 23rd, can't forget about Sedlick. So right now, with the exception of Ryan Borges, all their weapons are out. We haven't seen this once happen this season, so a very exciting thing to watch. I mean, we thought they were going to come in here and dominate, but Nicholas Doucette was going to have none of that as we get 1 to green here, folks. And look at who's up to 5th. Brandon Montevice has been hanging around there all night, and he's finding his way up to the top 5. Great run by him so far tonight.
Yeah, very proud to see this all-town computers car up here running in the 5th position. He's been just very quietly kind of running around mid-pack, keeping his nose clean, keeping the car clean. Looks like don't count him out either. He's got a pretty good car underneath him. We saw him earlier on with the lead there on the restart, and did a pretty good job of staying up there until he got up and just kind of tagged the wall a little bit. So caution flag's going to be thrown one more time here. Don't know exactly what's going on, but
it appears
the
50 did not catch up quite to the field. And comment on that, there's only 4 guys. This has been a race of attrition, and you can tell there's only 14 cars on the lead lap. Normally you'll see around 30 finish on the lead lap here from CORA. Tonight 14, folks. What a race of attrition we've seen.
And I don't think we're done yet, because there is a lot of this race, not lap-wise, but a lot of action that is still to be concluded here. It is a no tire and a lot of 2 tires, some 4 tire. Who's going to win it all? Are we done piling them in, and we get to race it out under green flag conditions? Not only are these recent troubles going to hurt the Storm and the Vortex gang in the season points, which again, not that important for those that may be unfamiliar with the CORA Championship Online Racing Association and the Sunday Money Series. The way it's working is races 1 through 19 are going to be the regular season. From that point on, the top 12 drivers in the points are going to be making the cutoff for the chase. Race is going to be delayed once again, so at least 1 more circuit around, including this one, until we get back to green flag racing. But the top 12 drivers, I think most of these Storm guys are good in that regard, but there are also individual vehicle points championships, Carl, that these guys are fighting for as well, that these troubles could hurt them for the B-car points.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, as far as the B-car points go, I don't think Don's going to be hurt too much, because he has won several races up here with the B-car. One race, Mulligan, I don't think it's going to hurt him too much. He's going to come back. What are we looking at next week here? Cora's going to be coming back again with the.
If you asked me any other time, I would have had my upcoming events thing all prepared. And again, I was working with my technical stuff. Next week,
well, they're going to be in
our
Atlanta.
Final B car race. Yes, our final B car race for this little segment of them at Atlanta, which we have seen earlier in the year with the trucks, and that was an exciting one. So Atlanta always proves to be interesting.
Don Stevenson is back on track, and it looks like they are going to give him his some of his laps back here because of a disconnection. CORA does have a policy in their rule book, which I like the policy because it's not your fault when your computer goes out. But like you said, it's the equivalent of a flat tire. But they do have a policy. If you do drop connection one time, you will get as many laps as they can get you back before they go back to green. So that's what we're seeing right now. That's why we're seeing these cautions, because Don Stevenson did get back on track, and they are going to try to give him as many laps as they can back to get him as close as they can to the front of this field one more time. And that would go for any driver. If it happened to any driver out there, if you drop connection and you go laps down, they will give you as many as they can back before you go back to green. So that's what we're seeing right now. That's why we're going. We had a couple cautions through and trying to get Don Stevenson back as close to the lead lap as possible.
That's a really cool thing to do here at CORA, and I cannot wait for next week from Hotlando. It's a big, wide track, and boy, they get sideways. It should be fun to watch, Evan, as they come to you for the restart.
New catchphrase for next week, Hotlando.
Side by side and getting set to go at it. 19 laps will remain in this one. Pace car is dived down now on the safety pit road. The 8 of Martin Porter, no hesitation. Green flag back in the air. The best thing that can help him is if they battle for second. It's a challenge from George Barker. Nose to the inside of Nicholas Doucette. He'll get there down at a quarter, number 1, and now side by side for P2. The longer they fight, the more that 8 car can get a gap, which he desperately needs on no tires. You see, already slowing off the quarter. Doucette not giving up from George Bark. No, the 8 trying to break any sort of a draft. I think they both might catch him even though they're side by side.
Yeah, if we're back under caution one more time. Caution.
Race control has thrown the caution.
Oh my
God.
There's a fight on pit road.
I don't see anybody around.
I'm taking a look back here. I'm thinking they didn't like the restart there for some reason. Something happened on that restart. I heard somebody say something about the restart, but I didn't catch exactly what it was. So I'm taking a look to see what happened on this restart.
The caution flag has been manually thrown just about a lap after that one. That will benefit that 8 of Martin Porter because it's going to slim some of the laps off the counter that he needs to hold everybody else off. But I do believe it would have been something in relation to that restart, in relation to something that happened under that most recent caution flag period that needed to be sorted out, or possibly they just didn't get that caution command in before we went back green, and we're still trying to get everybody sorted out. But nonetheless, it does bring out a caution. It's going to be another full cycle of a caution flag period, so about 3-4 laps. And do we have an update on the cause of that one?
What the race control just told me here is after the restart, the 15 came charging up to the back of the field and got hard into the back of the 79 car, causing the 79 car to have a lot of damage, and we're just going to call it debris on the racetrack after that. But that's exactly what happened there. I went back and looked at it. The 15 car charging up through right before the restart. I guess he tried to jump the gun there a little bit and slammed hard into the back of the 79 car.
Ooh, I see that.
He was cycling through to the field, and he lifted.
Live here.
Back live at the Charlotte. Yeah, hi Petey, how you doing? Evan Pasoko, Carl Jones, Petey Zeller in the broadcast booth after a small technical difficulty there. It happened to fall on a caution flag, so we should be able to get back here for this ensuing restart, which is going to be a 14-lap to go restart, a shootout on this one, as Martin Porter is once again going to be in control of this field. George Bark going to be sitting in second spot, and that puts Nick Doucette with possibly one of the preferred spots to be able to make a pass the inside of that third row. It all depends on if the 8 machine can keep that thing going with those old tires. Really had no corner exit speed the last time, and we'll have to see if he's able to pull something out of it, or can he ride a couple yellows through and steal this checkered flag. Pace car down on the gas, green flag back in the air. Immediately Nick Doucette to the bottom. A great restart by the 51.
Absolutely great restart, wow, by Nicholas Doucette there. But Martin Porter, no slouch on his own there. He got off to a really nice start as Nicholas Doucette's now going to take a look to his inside there. not able to get the quarter panel up underneath there as he is not close enough, but he is now getting really close here going into turn number 3 as he's going to just tap the back end there of Martin Porter now. Nicholas Doucette getting really, really racing.
Contact, he's leaning on him, and the 51 continuing to run on the high side. Can he get clear? Yes, he can. Give it to Nick Doucette.
And he got clear as number 8 car is going to get passed by Ryan Borges. They're going around them left and right. The only Storm car left in the field is going to go up to second. Can he defend Storm's huge winning streak, or will it end tonight? Here comes Ryan Borges, the pole setter. An excellent short run car all night, and he is in second. Only one car left to pass. That's the 51 of Nick Doucette. The 8 car, 42 hard wall. Big wreck.
Big wreck.
Oh, this is going to be big.
Oh my God, a huge wreck for George Bark. He's in the fence.
Get the safety
once
crews.
Again, we thought we had more contact as Salicardi just took out George Bark again. And guys, we talked about it, how the 42 had finally gotten a race where things didn't go downhill. And within 12 to go, it's the lap car who slides up, gives George Bark a nudge. Hard in defense goes that number 42. And the way those other guys hit him, what a wild wreck. The way that 42 car just got sent into the air. That'll be a cool replay shot at least.
Yeah, up and over goes George Barks. That was nasty looking wreck there. But 42 car once again having problems, not able to be up here. But what does that do? That brings Ryan Borges now up to the second position here. The last Storm car that's going to be any kind of contention is Ryan Borges. He's right behind the Nicholas Doucette car. Petey, I guess you had some questions you want to talk to Jacob?
Yeah, Jacob, I just want to ask you. So, since your car's out of the race now, what are you doing to help your team right now trying to move forward in this race?
Honestly, I'm sitting here, I'm in the spotter pack, talking to my guys. We have our private channel through the sim, and I'm able to give them a heads up, with the left lane guys, quick lane, and fast lane. We work together as much as we can, and just try to be that extra eye in the sky for some of them, because we all love to race so much, and our passion's behind the wheels. We're all on the track, and when we go out, we try to help each other after that incident happens.
All right. Well, since you're out of this race, how do you think your setup's going to be at Atlanta next week? Do you think you'll have a shot to win?
Well, after this race, we're going to get together, like I just said, with the lane racing establishment, and discuss what we're going to do. Some unfortunate events have been going on here recently that I don't know what's going to go on. If you see my 16 on the track, I can guarantee you it is going to be a strong runner. Without any glitches or anything in the system, I don't see why I can't be up there. You guys have been saying all night about Storm Motorsports. They are the Hendrick Motorsports of CORA. Well, Fastlane is the Joe Gibbs of CORA. We have some drivers who aren't afraid to take some risks. Right there, Martin Porter, no tires. Atlanta's going to be like this. Nice part will be we can race side by side a little better, though, I believe. But that remains to be seen to give you a true answer what's going to go on there.
That was once again Jacob, and apparently the Lane Motorsports might not be returning after this week, but we will see moving forward, Evan.
And we still have one more trophy to be handed out here tonight. This race still up in the air, and now it features Nicholas Doucette in the top spot, since the 8 machine of Martin Porter couldn't get the job done on the no-tire call, which really would have been quite a feat considering he started this race back in 27th position and just kind of ran around that area for the majority of the race. Was 23rd fastest in the practice session as well, and then again qualified 27th. He was batting above his batting average per se up there, and it was just a couple of different bounces, a couple of yellows away from making a beautiful call and stealing it. It doesn't work out, and he's elected to now come down pit road, give up that track position. He'll drop to 13th, which is the amount of cars we have left on the lead lap, so could be worse, but he does slide back there to go and get the damage repair. And now we once again see Nick Doucette, Ryan Borges. How about Chad Wilson? That number 2 machine, guys, started back in 22nd. He is in 3rd spot.
Going back here through this field, though, there has been a lot of attrition. We're seeing cars like Michael Churchman, Nathan Sebek, Kevin McCarthy, Colton Berkey. These guys are all out of this race. Jacob Nye, he fell out quite early on in the race. We also have William Roberts, he's out of the race. Tim Johnson's out of the race. And there's just a lot of cars sitting here junk behind pit wall right now. One of the cars just came back out on the racetrack, however, is 12 laps down as Joel Woods was in for some extensive repair. He has been popping in and out of pit road here every lap these last couple of cautions, trying to get some of this damage fixed on his car. We're also looking at a damaged car of David Wink sitting out here right now, 20 laps down. So, yeah, we got a lot of attrition going on here. A lot of cars out of the race or badly damaged out on the racetrack.
Yeah, and that is going to lead into the events of this event. Here we go, one last restart. Nicholas Doucette is on point. Here he goes, getting ready to take off. The only Storm Motor starts car off in the outside. Ryan Borges, here they go, taking off. Doucette is gone. Battle for second. Chad Wilson, Mr. Where Did He Come From right now, going to battle for second with Ryan Borges. Nicholas Doucette is saying goodnight, Charlotte, looking at his mirror because his biggest competition just got passed by Chad Wilson. Chad Wilson started 22nd, and he's up to second. What a run by this machine as Ryan Borges is going to battle back. Ryan Borges to the inside, battle for second. Will they have enough time to catch Doucette?
The 2 car had gotten clear for B2. Borges, Doug, coming at a quarter number 2 and was able to get back to the inside and nearly in the fence. They're rubbing doors, is still going at it for the number 2 spot advantage. That time by to Chad Wilson by 1/1000th of a second. Only issue that is they're not racing for P2. They want the top spot. They're still side by side. Borges gonna slide up, not quite clear. He'll make room. Give Borges now the second spot. Scott Bailey to the inside of the 2 of Chad Wilson. That now becomes a battle for third as a 2 car now appears to be sliding back. Does Ryan Borges have enough time as he needs to chase down about half a second gap between him and Doucette up front?
Ryan Borges used that car as a crowbar as he wedged his way up there into the front of Chad Wilson for the P2 position there, but did make it work. And Chad Wilson, I don't think liked that too awful much there because he did scrape some paint off the front nose of Chad Wilson as Borges just scrubbed up there in front of him like that. But the battle still rages on here now for the third position as Scott Bailey now is taking a look down to the inside of Chad Wilson. Is he going to be able to make the pass?
I don't know, but it's going to be close here. We have just 5 laps to go. The flagman's waving 5 fingers from these drivers. They know there's just 5 laps to go. Right now, he's getting passed right now by the Ford camp. Damon Gilbert, one of the only Fords in the series, is trying to represent well, trying to get a third place position, although he is actually going to lose that spot and possibly another one. Scott Bailey and his Chevy Camaro on the outside, but Damon Gilbert's not giving up easily. The battle for the lead is heating up, though. Borges is closing in. Doucette's slowing down a little bit, and this is getting exciting. To compare laps, last time by, Doucette 2.51, Borges 2.22. So it's getting exciting here, Evan, and these closing laps. Can Borges get... Oh, Borges hits the apron and gets loose.
He's digging at everything that he can. The gap is 5 car lengths. This race so far, 11 cautions for just about 44 laps of yellow. But it is Ryan Borges who does not want that to become 12 because if a caution flag were to fly now, this race would end. Digging, and he's closing time. Last time by 0.3 of a second. This time too. Closing in now at 3 laps to go. Only issue I think the number 32 car is going to have is if he can get to him at this rate, he's not going to have enough time to set him up for a pass. Now out of the quarter number 2. These 2, it's a 2-car show for this race win. We're bumper to bumper for third on back. Some side-by-side just at the tail end of the top 10. But all eyes on front as they head through 3 and 4. 2 to go this time by.
Nicholas Doucette brings it down one more time back across the start-finish line there. And he has still got a lead, but it's not much as Ryan Borges has now closed it down to 1/10 of a second. Looks like he's got less than a half a car length now. He is right on the back door of Doucette. Is he going to be able to make the pass?
Oh my, here comes Ryan Borges in his 32 car. They are flying. The flagman has the white flag in hand. He's waiting to drop it. Here they come. White flag in the air. Ryan Borges is there. Can he get by him? They are going to race for this win. Many battles behind. We're going to focus on this one. It's just 1/10 of a second now. Ryan Borges going for his second win on the season, trying to keep the Storm Motorsports streak alive. Nicholas Doucette, the young man, is trying to get yet another victory in his impressive CORA career. Here they come. Turn number 3. Down to you, Evan.
Borges dug and he drove it in hard, but he just caught the apron, and that's going to cost him. Final time through 3 and 4. The final push is going to come up short, and out of the final turn, checkered flag in the air, and a win for Nicholas Doucette. He gets it over Ryan Borges, who comes home in second, and Scott Bailey going to get a podium finish out of that one.
Yeah, and Damon Gilbert third, Chad Wilson fifth, and look at Brandon Monsivais. Career night for him. He finished 6th.
Yeah, 6th position for the Small Town Computers car there. as he had a 5th place starting place and just ran really nicely right around the middle of the pack all day long. But we are back up here now with Nicholas Doucette, and the young gun brings it home with the victory over Ryan Borges and Scott Bailey.
Nicholas Doucette's going to burn him down, and we will talk to him and the other top 3 members on the other end of this commercial break. See you on the other end.
Back live from the Charlotte Motor Speedway, where 150 laps and NASCAR's backyard has come to a close, and it came down to a late race restart and a late race shootout that saw Nicholas Doucette be able to hold off Ryan Borges by just over a 1/10 of a second after that 32 made a valiant charge in 1 and 2, tried to throw it in and just caught the apron, slid up a little bit, and it's going to be a P2 result for Borges, one of the only drivers out of that Storm Vortex gang that was really able to survive this one. But before we get to those two, down on pit road with our 3rd place finisher and rounding out our podium tonight is Carl Jones. He's caught up with the driver of that 08 machine. That's going to be Scott Bailey.
Yeah, standing down here with Scott Bailey as Scott brings it home in 3rd position. Great run tonight, Scott. Give us a little bit of a rundown on how the race went for you tonight.
First thing, I want to thank Fast Lane, Quick Lane, and Left Lane for all the help they give me and everybody else that's involved with that. And just tonight, I came into the race. I had a good setup for the qualifier, and I thought, okay, if I could bring this momentum into the race, I could finish well. And so I kind of hung out in the back of the top 10 kind of until the long run, and I moved up a little bit until that big wreck with Bark, and I just slipped through barely, and that brought me right where I was in 5th, and I made a good move around the 2 to grab 3rd.
Well, like I said, you had a great run tonight. Kept that car clean, kept it out of trouble. What were you thinking there on that last caution? Did you think you had a run for this lead?
Nicholas was very good tonight. I knew that if I could get on the outside, I could make a move on cars because that's pretty much where my car was strong when passing. But I thought I had a chance, and I grabbed it. 3rd.
Well, congratulations on your 3rd place finish tonight, Scott. Anybody out there you want to thank? Who makes this work for you?
Fast Lane, Left Lane, and Quick Lane, they helped me a lot. And everybody watching, thanks for watching.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've got Scott Bailey here, our 3rd place finisher. I believe that Evan has caught up with the 2nd place of Ryan Borges.
Yeah, we're going to mix things up a little bit here. I'm down on pit road tonight with our 2nd place finisher, driver of the number 32 car, going to be Ryan Borges. And Ryan, You were digging there. You really threw it in the 1 and 2. Just looks like you caught the apron a little bit, came up short. Walk us through not only this entire race, but that final dash where you kind of got held up racing for second for a little bit, and looks like you just ran out of time by a little bit.
Yeah, it was a crazy race overall. It was all about the tires and hitting your marks and making sure you don't hit the apron, which I did on that final run a couple times. But I had a really good car thanks to Storm Motorsports and Vortex Motorsports. I mean, I couldn't have gone that fast without them, but I really felt like I had a good shot at the win there, especially after guys like Don and Michael and David all had their issues, and honestly, I don't think I could have beat them, but after all those things happened, I thought I had a really good shot there, and I was trying all I could to get around Nicholas, but just that caution came out with 7 or 8 to go. I was up beside Nicholas, and I thought that was probably one of my last chances to get to him, and since I wasn't doing too good on the restarts tonight, and that's what happened. I just couldn't get a good last restart there. Fell to third, had to pass back second, and just didn't quite have enough to get by Nicholas. Maybe a couple more laps.
You continue your impressive season with yet again another podium spot tonight, but a couple of those incidents there late caused quite a headache for the rest of your team.
Yeah, it wasn't overall as a team. It wasn't that good of a night for us. I mean, David, Nathan, and Michael, they were all in wrecks, and Don was doing good. And something happened. He had a computer problem, and it just turned right off on him. So I guess it wasn't our night as a whole, but for me, I guess I carried the team in this one in terms of finishing, and we'll definitely come back next week and be a force.
We've been to Atlanta before this year in the trucks. We're going to hit them up at a beat cars now. It's going to be the Atlanta Motor Speedway in 1 week's time. Is there any sort of way you can relate that race in the trucks, take anything that you learned from that and apply it to next week?
I just know that Atlanta's a really, really, really slick track. It's an older surface, so it's all going to be about, I imagine it's going to be just like Charlotte in terms of like tire management and making sure to hit your marks, but it's going to be a crazy race like this one.
All right, Ronald, before we let you get back down to the team and maybe consolidate them on what was a pretty rough second half of tonight's race for them all, sponsors and shoutouts as always, who kind of makes this possible?
All right, I got to thank the whole Storm Motorsports and Vortex Motorsports team. I mean, like I said before, if they weren't here helping me, I wouldn't have a clue with setups or wouldn't be nearly as fast. So I got to thank Don, Michael, Eric. I got to thank Nathan and David.
All right, well, you had a strong night, and we hope to be able to see you and that team also continue the dominance that you have shown throughout this year. It's going to be a P2 for you again, Ryan. Thanks for talking with us, and good luck rolling forward in Atlanta next week.
Thanks.
And that is tonight's second place finisher, driver of the 32 car, Ryan Borges. And typically, I'm down in the victory lane celebration. I gave up the Gatorade tonight, so PDJ Zeller is down with his favorite driver. He's got a Nicholas Doucette t-shirt on, and it's the 51 in victory lane.
Yeah, I got my Nicholas Doucette t-shirt, hat, and special Nike shoes on tonight. I've caught up with tonight's winner, Nicholas Doucette. Nicholas, you had a great run tonight. You were kind of hanging around the top 5 early. You made a quick strategy call right in the beginning, took 2 tires, and then you started dominating from that point on. How did you manage to win this race, Nick?
Honestly, I do not know. I just can't believe where I am right now, but I honestly did not want to see that caution at about lap 100 because I had like a 2.5 second lead on there. And at that time, I took 4 tires, but around lap 130 or 140, we had a caution again, and I took 2 tires. But then at that point, I came out second because one did not pit, so I was like really freaking out because I didn't know what was going to happen. But then after that, got another green flag, and I just went on and won the race.
Well, Nick, it seemed like your biggest contender was going to be the 47 of Don Stevenson. What went through your mind when he dropped his connection?
I was like stunned. I was like, how could that even happen? Like, I felt bad for him that he lost connection, but at the other time I was like, oh, I might have a chance.
Well, Nick, it's well known that you are the youngest driver in this league. You already broke the record for winning a race before tonight. But how was it like racing with such seasoned veterans, guys like Don Stevenson and the Ryan Borges of this league?
It's tons of fun. They've taught me a lot. Yeah, they taught me a lot how to drive, and it's just pleasure to run with them.
All right. Well, before I let you go, Nick, who are your sponsors? Who makes it happen for you in the number 51 crew?
I really got to thank my teammates at True Speed Motorsports. Got to thank Michael Van Ostal for the setup, awesome setup, and got to thank CORA for all the stuff they've put on to make this really good league, and I got to thank you guys for putting on a really good broadcast.
All right, Nick. Well, we'll hope to be talking to you later on in the season. Great win tonight. Now I'm going to send it back to you, Evan, for closing thoughts.
10-4, thank you.
So that is tonight's winner driver of that number 51 machine, Nicholas Doucette, who is able to get the job done tonight. And PDO, you doing okay down there? Are you breathing again?
I had to get a little oxygen, man. I'm all nervous.
We all know that PD's favorite driver is Nicholas Doucette. It's no secret there.
I was all tripping and stuff. I actually fell over his jack getting down the pit road. I was running so fast.
Well, maybe we can compare him. If you take the one car off and we give him the 5, maybe we'll call Nick Doucette Casey Kane, and Petey will be playing the role of a 16-year-old girl. But nonetheless, Nicholas Doucette is your winner tonight. Ryan Borges third, Scott Bailey in the number 3 spot. Borges rather got second position. Those were the top 3 finishers. We'll give you a full field rundown so you know where everybody finished. Damon Gilbert got 4th. 5th position would go to Chad Wilson. Brandon Monsivice came home in the number 6 spot. 7th position to Gordon Berkey. 8th to Dylan Ackert. Everett Lane in 9th, and rounding out the top 10 would be Jason Halverson.
In the 11th position, we are going to be seeing Dustin Lee. Martin Porter, he finished in 12th. Dominic Dieball, after all of his trouble today, he finished in the 13th position. John Pansula is in 14th. James Brown, he is in the 15th position. Dustin Loynes finished here in the 16th position. Gave Don Stevenson, after his wonderful run through the field, but unfortunate disconnection, the 17th position. 18th position goes to David Wink, and then George Barks 19th and Joel Woods in 20th.
Dale Carty 21st, Michael Churchman tough break 22nd, Nathan Sedlick another tough break 23rd, Kevin McCarthy our in-race reporter 24th, 25th Colton Burke, 27th Matt Clifton, that's actually 26th with Matt Clifton, 27th Dale Atkins, 28th Mitchell Reeves, 29th Jeffrey Smith, and around your top 20 is that number 60 of Patrick Scahill.
And then obviously cycling through the rest of the field here, Tim Johnstone in 31st. 32nd we go to William Roberts, and Jacob Nye would finish in the number 33 position. 34th also to Mark McFadden, did not start this race, so 33 cars total. Ended up with about 13 of them on the lead lap, but it was all said and done. And guys, a race that pretty much was what we expected at Charlotte. It's one of the tracks that comes standard with iRacing, so it's always up in hosted sessions. You're always getting lap times on it, and when they turn the lights on at this place, there's a lot of grip. I say that conservatively because we saw guys sliding around a lot tonight, but it was an exciting race as we come to expect. A lot of beating and banging, and a lot of drama too that presented itself. Final thoughts before we roll out of here for the night.
Well, I got to tell you, it definitely shocked me to see Storm Motorsports finish the way they finished tonight. It was really a big disappointment for all of them, I'm sure. Ryan Borges did bring it home in the second place for the Storm Motorsports team, but our points leader really hit him hard tonight. I guess the mulligan is going to have to be in play for him, because finishing back there in the where is it? I believe the 17th position for the 47 of Don Stevenson. That's gonna have to be his mulligan. He doesn't have anything else for the rest of the season. And the bad part of that is we aren't even halfway through this, guys. You know, you don't want to get your mulligan early. You want to get your mulligan late in the season if you have to have one. I don't think it's a good idea to have one early in the season, but I guess you have to take what you got to take. But I know if I'm going halfway through the season, I'm already getting a mulligan. I'm going to be worried for the rest of the season, because we still got cars, the Indy cars coming up here, and we have road courses coming up here. So otherwise tonight, yeah, it was pretty much what we expected. A lot of cautions. It was just a Charlotte Motor Speedway night.
Yeah, well, one thing I have to comment on, everything you said, Carl, I agree with. Plus, next week, Atlanta. So take Charlotte, draw it on a piece of paper, looks the same. Whenever you look at it in real life, not the same. Atlanta much wider, higher banked, higher speeds, and a ton more bumpier. So it's going to be like tonight, except they're basically going to be drifting the whole night. It's such a loose racetrack, and we expect to see these guys beating and banging. Atlanta's just like a big old short track. So I'm very excited for next week. Should be fun to watch.
Oh, not to mention it's going to be a fixed race next week. So.
Oh man, oh man.
That means that there's not going to be any sort of equipment advantage. It's going to be even strength when we get out there on the hot and slick racetrack at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. However, that does it from Charlotte, as race number 6 so far is now in the books. We got another B car race coming up in this most recent stint before we head off to a new vehicle coming up after next week. Again, these last 4 races have been in these B cars after we canceled one of the super late model races. The future of the SLM race in the Chase is still up in the air, so we'll give you the results of that. But tonight, race 7 of the season is in the books, and it is going to go to the 51 of Nicholas Doucette. And on behalf of everybody here at CORA that made these things possible, and everybody here at LSR TV that makes this possible, executive producer Laura Lawson, Carl Jones, and PDJ Zeller for joining me up at a broadcast booth, myself, Evan Pasoko. Thank you for tuning in. Nick Doucette takes the checkers tonight. We'll see you in 1 week's time from Hotlanta.
No, because you said it once.